On June 17, 2023, deputies from Monroe Sheriff's Office responded to a 911 call from an apartment in Key West, Florida. One of the apartment's residents, Jordan, had called police after being woken by screams from his roommate's girlfriend, Brittany Holbrook. Jordan then discovered his roommate, 29-year-old Tyler Nulisch, lying bleeding and unresponsive on the living room floor. First responders quickly arrive at the scene. As they try to save Tyler, deputies speak to Jordan to try to find out what happened.
Good, how are you?
Great. Oh, good, yes.
What's going on?
I woke my roommate, got a lot of blood on the floor.
Okay.
She woke me up like half an hour ago, 15 minutes ago. I'm not sure exactly, but I've been sleeping. I don't know exactly what happened.
Okay, so you woke up and saw this?
I heard a scream.
You heard a scream?
She woke me up.
Who woke you up?
My roommate's girlfriend.
Okay.
And he's bleeding from somewhere in his back. I didn't hear a noise. I don't know what exactly happened.
Okay.
But there's a lot of blood on the floor, and he's like in and out of consciousness.
Okay. But you couldn't see his back. So the scream woke you up, or it woke you?
No, I heard her come down the hallway.
So his girlfriend is
yelled my name and Jordan.
Okay.
Like, please.
Yeah, let's go over here. Get out of their way. All right, so this was about 30 minutes ago, you said, right?
I mean, it's probably more like 10. It just happened real fast.
Right, I get it.
I was on the phone. I don't know how long before with 911.
Okay, yeah.
And it was probably maybe 3 minutes before that.
Okay.
When I was woken up.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to put it together, I didn't really realize what was all happening, and I still don't know.
Gotcha.
I just know he was bleeding from somewhere in his back.
Okay. So his girlfriend's, what's his girlfriend's name?
Brittany.
Brittany. So you heard Brittany scream.
Yeah, she yelled, Jordan, please help.
And your name is Jordan?
Yes.
Okay. So Jordan, please help. You come out of your room, and then he just laying there on the ground.
She's holding him, laying on the ground.
She's holding him. Did you see
conscious.
did you see anything around, like a knife, any type of weapon at all?
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a pistol, but I think I would have heard a shot.
There's a pistol?
I'm pretty sure.
Where's the pistol located?
I saw one on the floor when I came out of the room.
You saw a pistol on the floor when you came out of the room?
Yes.
Okay.
But not in the hallway, or just right in the living room out in the open. I know he has one, and I'm pretty sure she does, but I didn't hear any shots.
You didn't hear any gunshots?
I have no idea how exactly it happened.
Okay.
It's just,
okay.
I woke it up and I got looked at him and talked to him for like, call it 1 or 2 seconds. He's I'm calling 911.
Yeah, no, that was a good thing to do. So you hear the scream from Brittany.
Yes.
You come out. She's saying, Jordan, help. He's laying on the ground. She's holding his head, holding his arm. How's she holding
him by his back, trying to keep him upright a little bit.
So he was to sit him upright?
And I could see nothing on his stomach.
Only the blood was coming from his back?
Somewhere in his back.
But was there a shirt? He had a shirt on?
No, shirt was off.
Could you see the wound on his back or no?
Not.
She was covering, because she was holding him up? Gotcha. Okay. But you didn't hear any gunshots? Did you hear any fighting and nothing?
No. Something happened outside.
Yeah.
Like I was.
Are they known to be violent before? No past at all?
No, I've never had anything weird with them, and I've lived with them for about a year, and I've known both of them for at least a few years.
I gotcha. Do you have your license on you at all?
In my room upstairs.
We'll wait on that. I'll get you in a second.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Okay. I'll just get your name and date of birth.
Yep.
What's your name? Jordan?
Jordan.
With a J?
Yes. Middle initials H.
D-A-N or D-E?
D-A-N.
Okay. D-A-A-N?
Yeah.
Okay. Middle initial H, you said?
Yep.
Last
name's
Okay. Give me a second. $11.27 or 2.
Control 2.
$11.27 I have my name and date of birth. No, mine's over there. First name Jordan, common spelling. Middle initial is H as in hotel. Last name. Date of birth O.
Is that a male or a female?
A male. Is your ID out of Florida?
What's that?
Is your ID out of Florida?
Yes.
Okay. His ID should be out of Florida.
I have a lighter.
Lighter. All right.
Yeah.
You mind just like putting your hands on your head
Sure.
for a second? Just touch it down real quick just for safety. All right. You're good.
Where is, you said the gun was in the hallway or the
I
room?
saw one when I was on the phone and came over.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was right in the floor in between him. I saw some kind of holster.
Okay.
All right. Just
Okay.
for right now.
Yep.
All right. We'll figure out what's going on.
Okay.
I know. All right. Why don't you walk me through what happened?
It's probably like a timeline of call like 3 minutes before I called 911. I heard a scream and her walking down the hallway and say Jordan, my name. And they got up out of bed. I had been asleep maybe 2 hours, but knew something was wrong. I came out in the living room and saw Tyler was incoherent, bleeding from somewhere in his back.
Okay.
I don't know from what or whatnot, but I know if it was a gun, I would have heard it. Like, I don't know what exactly how it happened.
Who owns that gun?
I don't, one of those, I'm pretty sure Tyler.
You pretty sure he does?
Yes. I know he usually always has,
Okay.
he's a hunter. Like, beyond that, when I got on the phone, she kind of talked me through what to do, and I put one dog away first. We had 2 dogs. They have 2 dogs. I put them in their bedroom. The one's a lot harder to get, but
Okay.
when I talked to her on the phone, like, and about maybe as soon as the first female officer arrived, she hung up with the lady on 911 and said, all right.
'Cause we're hearing you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to just lean against the car real quick?
Sure.
What do you say?
Except for the rocks, but yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay. You didn't hear any gunshot, nothing like that?
I had the TV on quite quietly and half asleep, but I think I would have heard something unusual.
Yeah.
I'm a fisherman and live on a boat half the year. I've heard some weird noises waking me up since.
That's all I got for right now, right?
Deputies turn their attention to Tyler's girlfriend, Brittany Holbrook, to find out if she knows how Tyler got hurt.
So what happened?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I went to sleep. I don't
Okay.
know.
Why don't you go take a seat over there?
Like Papa, 37B MMP. Line G.
Did you hear a gunshot?
No.
Huh?
No. I went to sleep.
You went to sleep?
Oh my God.
You went to sleep and what happened?
I went to sleep.
Okay, and then you woke up?
I woke up to this.
Okay, and what did you see? Yes, just him laying on the floor, bleeding? Okay.
Is he okay?
I have no idea what's going on. Okay, were you, who is he to you?
That's my boyfriend.
That's your boyfriend, and who's that?
My roommate.
Your roommate? Okay. And how long have you all been living together?
9 months.
9 months. How long have you known him for?
2 years.
2 years. Alright. So you known him for 2 years. You've been dating for how long?
9 months.
9 months. So you've been living here for 9 months and you... What's it called? Okay.
Is he okay? Is he okay?
I have no idea. The medical staff is doing what they. All right, no, you can't go inside, okay? So you were asleep. What made you get up? Did you hear something?
I don't know.
You just woke up.
I don't know.
Okay. Was anybody else in the house besides your roommate, or?
I don't know.
Don't know. Okay. What time did you go to sleep?
I
Don't know. Okay. Were you aware at all he had a gun or no?
I have no idea.
No, okay. When you went to sleep, was he sleeping with you or was he still up?
I don't even know what the f is going on right now.
Can I get your first and last name?
What is that?
What is it? You gotta.
Is he okay? Is he...
Hey, like I said before, they're taking care of him. They're doing what they gotta do with him. All right.
His ID or anything like that?
I have to find it.
Are you ready? Stop.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't. What's his name and date of birth?
Tyler Nulisch.
Tyler Nulisch. Last date of birth. Okay. How do you spell Nulisch?
3. Nulisch.
How do you spell it?
Nulisch.
ISH.
Nulisch.
CH. Gotcha. All right.
What's going on?
They're taking him to the hospital
Why?
because
Is
he
he
was
okay?
bleeding. What's up, Timothy? I got one by name and date of birth out of Florida.
What is going on? My dogs are in there.
Yeah, just leave them be for now, okay? First name's gonna be Tyler, Tango, Yankee, Lima, Romeo. Echo, Romeo. Last name is gonna be. Is it NU? NU, correct? Correct. November, uniform, Lima, India, Charlie, Hotel, and his date of birth is gonna be March.
Everybody get down here.
All right, ma'am, you're gonna have to go downstairs.
Why?
You gotta go downstairs.
Because I'm telling you, go
There's a crime
downstairs.
scene and you are not back in the house.
My dogs are in the house.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out. Go downstairs.
Point the crime scene. Take a look at it.
Tyler is rushed to the hospital, but he succumbs to his injuries. The case is declared a murder investigation. When homicide detectives arrive on the scene, they head straight to question Jordan.
So obviously we're looking into what happened last night. Who all lives here?
Me, Tyler, and Brittany. And only the upstairs. There's different tenants that live downstairs, but they have a separate door on the backside.
Are they home now?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least I see their vehicles there, so I'm assuming they're home.
Which ones are there?
The silver one and the white van are both. And their door is pretty much right behind the silver car.
Okay. Older, younger?
Hispanic, medium age, probably a little bit younger than me, upper 30s maybe.
They speak English?
Husband does, yes. Wife, a little bit.
What do they do?
I don't know for sure. I think he's some kind of construction / handyman maybe. Does a little bit of everything. Like I know he does our yard and a couple other yards for the landowner, but
Alright, give me 1 second. All right.
yeah.
You guys spot upstairs. You walk in the front door.
Yep.
Which bedroom is yours?
Mine is straight back to the left.
Like the door at the end of the hallway?
At the end of the hallway, yeah. Theirs is right to the right, the one in the hallway.
And is there a third bedroom to the left, or is that a bathroom?
That's just a bathroom.
How long you guys lived here?
7 months, 6 months, something like that.
You guys all moved in around the same time?
Yeah.
How long you guys known each other?
I've known Tyler for a long time. Her, maybe a year or so, year and a half. But I've known Tyler for probably 7 or 8 years.
Oh, a long time.
Yeah.
You guys live down here the whole time?
Yep.
What do you guys do?
Fish.
Like
Yeah, I go up for usually about a week at a time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've run a long life boat, so actually came in night before last. I posted a boat, got about 6,000 pounds of fish in the boat right now.
What do you guys fish for?
Grouper and snapper, mostly all deep Gulf water, double Gulf.
And he's like a mate on the boat with you?
Nope, no, he normally worked at a Bakel boat company, by stock and lobster company. They build the boats in town there.
Uh-huh.
And I think he just quit like when I was out fishing 3-4 days ago. Something came up, and now he's kind of helping out at the marina I am at for John Buckheim and Charles. They own the property together. But
When you say something come up, do you know what came up at work that made him quit?
I know it's been bothering him for a while. It's fiberglass work, and I think he just finally got over the paycheck to paycheck. And I know he left on good terms, but normally he kind of takes off a month this time of year to go bully netting come August, and they usually do a little bit in July to get the boats ready. I know he had planned on doing that, but it caught me off guard when he said that he wasn't working for Jim no more.
And he's worked there for years?
On and off for about 2 or 3 years. Yeah, before that he did what I did, fish, but with different people.
How many trips do you make out?
Twice a month on the average.
So you got all the time.
Yeah, I'm gone way more than I'm here.
How far out are you guys out in the Gulf?
150 miles. I have to go at least 100 to start fishing. It's they got rules for the long line, and I have to be outside a certain depth and in federal Gulf waters, so it takes a day to get there, a day to get back, and you gotta make your money when
Well, so we want to ask you about what happened last night.
Yep.
Before we do that, this is just the basics that we need to make sure that you understand.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to read them to you.
Okay.
All right. Before you ask any questions, you must understand the following rights. You have the right to remain silent. You do not have to talk to me if you do not want to. You do not have to answer any of my questions. Do you understand that, right?
Yes.
Can you just initial yes? Just kind of we go.
Just like an X-ray, right? Yes.
Initial, like letters, your name. Should you talk to me, anything you might say may be introduced as evidence in court against you. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you want a lawyer to be present during questioning at this time or any time hereafter, you are entitled to have a lawyer present. Do you understand that, right?
Yes, I do.
If you cannot afford to pay for a lawyer, one will be provided for you at no cost if you want. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Okay. Knowing these rights, are you now willing to answer any of my questions without having a lawyer present?
Yeah.
Alright. And then sign down here. And today is the 17th. Just right next to it.
It's been so long. 6/17?
17th. Did you grow up down here?
Nope, I grew up in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, big switch.
Yeah, I moved down about 12 years ago, I guess.
So born and raised in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Grammar school there, high school there.
Yep.
Alright. Any college?
2 years of tech school for welding, which I never used.
Really? Welding might be money down here.
Yeah, but it was like when I first out of high school, like one of those deals. I was recommended by my welding teacher or my metals teacher, and then I had a job, like a work apprenticeship job, where they paid for my schooling. So I got certified in welding, and then I worked 3 days a week. I went to school 3 days a week, and that was about as far as it went. And I really just didn't care for the job after that. Got back
we have guys who leave us and go just weld full time.
No, I know it's everything needs welding. You know, every business. So.
What time did you get home last night?
Probably still light out. 7 o'clock probably.
When you got home, was the rest of the neighbors home? Upstairs, downstairs?
I don't know if they were or not. We're trying to keep to ourselves, and I don't really see when they come and go.
Okay.
I'm assuming they were there because they got a young daughter, I'm pretty sure too, so they're usually more of a, you know.
Okay. Were your roommates upstairs home?
We were all downstairs until probably 10:30 is probably when I went up and started watching TV, something like that.
So you got home at 7 and just hung out in the patio there underneath the stilts?
Yeah.
Were you guys all drinking?
Yeah.
How much do you think you guys had?
I mean, I can't speak for them. I don't think. I know Tyler had maybe 5 or 6 beers. I probably had a little more because when I was working on the boat earlier in the day. But it's definitely less than 9, 8.
Kind of
and her, I don't know.
Is that average for you guys?
I mean, for me, similar, but for him, no, not as often.
Okay. How often does he drink?
It's probably been a couple of weeks. He's had a really bad cold, so I know he hasn't for at least a couple of weeks, is my guess.
Okay.
I just got back the night before last, and I was gone for 10 days, so I don't know.
Sure. Okay. Do they have any problems? How's the relationship?
I mean, it's usually pretty good, but they definitely have their little issues here and there.
Do you remember what the latest issue was?
I don't know what causes it usually, besides usually the drinking mixed between the two of them. It's usually her side more than his. Like, I'm not like pointing fingers forever, but I've just, like, since I've lived with them, I maybe saw like 3 somewhat yelling arguments, like nothing physical ever, like, but there was one other time where, like, she woke me up in the middle of the night, similar to this, but obviously just nothing had happened, you know? And it had nothing to do with him. She was just out of her mind that night, and, like, nothing bad happened. I kind of just took it as a wash, and, like, we talked about it the next day, and it was, like, a joke or a broken cell phone that I think she threw his, or vice versa, I forget exactly. I didn't really see it, I just heard it. But that was normally it's perfect, you know,
When you said she was out of her mind that night, what do you mean? Like,
just certain people that drink seem to not handle it as well, or whether it's a long day of drinking and the two of them both drinking together all day, I just sense, you know, just out of her mind as in not normal herself. They're like not functioning properly, just not making sense, talking, stuff like that.
Do you think that's the alcohol, or do you think there's something else going on?
No, I think it's probably mostly the alcohol, because the only time it's like when they go out on the little boat and they're out together the whole day on a weekend, and then they come back and drink a little bit here, and I feel like that whole day thing is just no good.
Yeah, all day out drinking in the sun on the boat, and come back and it keeps going.
Yep.
So when you got home last night, were they downstairs already?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And they were already drinking?
She was, he wasn't.
Okay. How was the mood when you
Great.
walked home?
It was great. Everybody was getting along fine. I felt like it was a normal good night, you know?
And you were downstairs drinking until what time about?
I'd say around 10:30ish was my guess. And I went and watched a couple episodes of TV, and I was pretty well asleep when I heard her screaming, and she's the one who woke me up. And I don't know how to even picture it. It just makes me sick. I can't say what happened because I don't know. But he was coherent here when I came by him, and I just seen the blood, and it's just, I saw a pistol. I don't even know what happened. I just saw a lot of blood. But I did see a gun sitting there in the holster, which I'm pretty sure was hers. I never heard the shot. If that's what happened, I didn't get woken up by that. I got woken up by her yelling, and instantly I tried to look at him in the face, and like that's when I called 911. Like I didn't know what happened, so I couldn't see anything on the front side. I might have saw the blood around him, so I knew there was something in the backside, you know. And the little bit I got out of him, like I didn't see it. I don't know what happened, but I heard him say that bitch shot me in the back. Mumbled it. I didn't, you know, like a lot of it happened fast, and like I was on the phone with the lady from 911, and then I carried both the dogs from downstairs and put them in the room because they were freaking out, you know. They're both hound dogs. They're loyal and nice dogs, but and from there I stayed downstairs once everybody got here, more or less.
When you left to go upstairs last night, how was the mood then?
I say the mood was perfect. Like, I didn't notice anything weird, and I can usually sense if there's like a little, because I'll just avoid myself from situations like that. And I didn't sense anything weird.
And when you were sitting inside watching TV, did you hear anything downstairs?
No. Everything was quiet until I heard her screaming. But I'd probably fallen asleep maybe, had to be maybe an hour and a half before she yelled. And I came out back to the living room, so I was in my room watching TV when she woke me up.
So when you left from downstairs, were you chilling out on the couch in the living room, or did you
I went right to my room.
Your door closed?
Yeah.
Remember what you were watching?
Turn of the Tide, I believe, yeah.
Oh,
It's just a new Netflix series, I don't know.
alright.
Yeah.
What time do you think you got woken up?
I mean, the only way I know for sure is my phone, because I pretty much called 911 within 2 or 3 minutes. But I want to say I thought it was around 2 to 2:30, but that's just an estimate. I didn't really look at my phone.
And what was the first thing that you heard when you woke up?
Screaming.
You remember whose voice you heard screaming?
Hers.
You remember anything that she was saying?
No.
Was it words or?
Words. Just Tyler. He was in and out. He was definitely faded, kind of like. And that's shortly after that is when I got on the phone, and she was trying to like sit him up, and I'm like, don't move him. Like the lady on the phone said, don't move him. That's what it's about. And she just was just Tyler. That's all I remember her saying. Nothing like.
So you hear the screaming. You open the door.
But she yelled my name. Like she got my attention by screaming Jordan and running down the hallway initially.
Okay.
And when I came out is when I started to put together what was going on.
Did she come into your room?
Nope.
Just walk down the hallway towards you and screaming? Okay. So you open the door, and where is she when you open the door?
She was pretty much on her way back towards the living room within a couple feet of Tyler.
Okay. And where was Tyler?
Right in the middle on the floor. And he was still kind of like in and out, I guess is the only way I can explain it.
How was he laying?
On his back.
And when you got up to him, what was the first thing that you did?
When I was on the phone, she's like, I told her, I'm like, I don't think he's breathing. I don't think he's breathing. And she's like, well, I'm going to explain to you how to do CPR. And then I noticed, like, okay, he's breathing. And from there, she explained that the officer was pretty much going to be there any second. And I saw the lights pull on the road. And the one dog was barking outside. So I put the chief in the bedroom first. That's the older dog. That's Tyler's dog. That's the one that was really panicking. Or the younger one, she'll lick anybody to death. Where the other one can be, not nice to others, at least in his domain.
Okay. When you first got up to him, how with it was he?
What's that?
How coherent was he when you first got up?
Very, very little. He was trying to move a little bit, just talked a little bit, but it was mostly you get to see it, and he would try to like move his head, and his head would just fall back, and I could see him try to open his eyes, but it was definitely not like couldn't stand up on his own by any means or anything like that.
And where is she?
She was behind him, kind of like cradling him.
So he was on his back. Did she like lift him up to get behind him, or was she just...
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
A couple times. And that's when, I knew it was pretty bad because like she kind of was trying to get him to wake up, and he fell, and his head hit the tile, like not like nothing hard, but like I could tell he wasn't in control of his body that well.
And was he like in and out?
Yeah.
At that point? And you mentioned that he had said something to you. When was
Yeah,
that?
but it's like, I didn't see nothing. I just know what he said because I was trying to figure out what the hell happened. And I'm pretty sure he said that he shot me in the back.
Where was she when he said that?
Right there.
Did you notice anything about her?
Nope.
And how long after he made that statement did the first patrol guys show up?
A minute to 2 minutes. It was right when I was on the phone.
Did he say anything else?
No.
Was he still?
No, he did say one other thing. It's, like when I first, I'm like, Tyler, what happened? What happened? He's like, just call 911. And that's what I called. And then he said the other part. But that's the only two things he said was, please call 911, which I was already going to do, but it was like, I tried to ask him what happened, what's going on. Like I said, I couldn't see anything in the front side. I just saw a big, fair amount of blood. And it didn't look like anything had happened to his, he didn't have a shirt on, didn't have anything happen to his stomach. There was no didn't see a knife laying there. I just got caught way off guard with everything that was happening.
Okay. You said when did you first see the gun?
It was probably when I was on the phone.
Okay.
I didn't notice it the first couple minutes. It was probably right before I walked outside. I was right in front of the doorway.
And you had to come outside to open the gate, was it?
Yeah. Well, the gate and to bring the dog in. Because I had already got the big dog away, and the little one was barking at the first officer that arrived.
So you left from outside to come downstairs to open the gate?
Yep.
And you guys went right up inside? Has she said anything? And been laying on that beanbag and just hanging out the whole time? Have you talked to her about anything or tried to
Well, today,
ask her
no,
anything?
absolutely nothing. 'Cause I just don't know what to even think. Like, he's one of my best friends. She was a girlfriend, you know? I just don't know what to think.
Do you know where they met?
Not 100% no.
Do you guys chat anything about her and the relationship, how things were going?
I always thought it was pretty good overall. Like, the little bit we talked about it, you know, he seems happy. It was, for him, it was more like when I saw the unhappy Tyler, it was like long days at the boatyard full of fiberglass dust, and he was just not happy about his job, more or less. It never had anything to do with her.
Happy like Tyler thinking like, this is the one I'm going to marry this girl, or like, hey, this is fun for now kind of thing?
That's a tough one to answer because I've only ever seen him with one other girl, you know, so I don't, that's more of probably more like fun for now, but I have no idea. It's one of those things probably too soon, and it was definitely not like a match made in heaven where you just know. It wasn't one of those situations, I feel like, but it very well could have been, and given a little more time. Like, I don't know that for sure, but I'm not very good at that relationship, but I feel like they usually got along good. Every time they had days off together at the same time, she would do like a concierge type thing. I don't even know the place, but somewhere in QS, like renting paddle boards and bikes and scooters and stuff like that. And she could kind of line up her days off with him, and like they're always spent the whole day going to the park with the dogs, swimming at the beach. Like, they usually would spend time together every chance they would have.
Had you ever seen that gun before?
Nope. I saw Tyler's, but I don't even know if that was his. I don't remember what. I know it was obviously a pistol, but I just saw it was in some kind of holster case. Other than that, I don't think I've seen it.
What kind of gun did Tyler have?
He had some kind of smaller pistol. And I know he hunts too. Like, I think he had a shotgun, but I don't know. I've never really been in the room. I've only ever seen, he used to have a little pistol he'd keep in his truck, pretty much had like a little magnetic thing, and then I'm pretty sure she had one in her purse, but I never fully saw it myself. Like, I don't know.
Tyler's gun, is it like all black or stainless or
Brown, I want to say.
brown? Okay. Like desert tan kind of brown?
Yes.
Which car is his?
The
gray
gray
truck?
truck.
Does she have a car?
Yeah, hers is the white car.
And what do you drive?
I don't drive. At least not right now.
I got you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that sticks out in your mind as important?
Not directly, no. It just, everything kind of went together and caught way off guard, you know? Like, we were just talking about at dinner, like, oh yeah, it's kind of homey around here. Like, I could finally call someplace home. Like, sure, it happened 6 hours later or whatever it was. But
after he made those statements when he was laying there, was he still coherent for a little bit?
just enough to talk. Eyes weren't really open. I could see one eye open a little bit, but it was like I could see like the weakness. Like almost like somebody was gonna faint, kind of like legal wobbly.
Any questions, Paul?
Does he have any like other drug uses, anything like that, other than drinking?
I mean, I smoked some weed.
Weed, okay.
But other than that, nothing that I know of. No.
Okay.
No. I would know if there was like hallucinogenics or any kind of pills or anything like that.
All right. And then when you said he made those statements, where was Brittany?
Right, connected to him.
Right there?
Yeah.
Holding, like
Yeah.
you said, cradling him or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there anyone else here last night?
No. Not unless someone came after I left, but I really highly doubt it.
You guys have any?
Or not left, but I went out to sleep.
You guys have any buddies that come over all the time and hang out?
My friend Eric does on the regular, but he had a friend in town, so I know he was in Key West last night at the hotel.
Do they have any buddies that come and hang out?
Yeah, but the one that you, more like daytime stuff, not really in the evening. There's an older guy that comes that they've known for years but he charter fishes in Michigan in the summertime, so he's only down here in the winter. It's a Flats guy in the winter, so he's not here this time of year. But he's the only other one that I would see randomly in the evenings. You know, other than that,
no neighbors that walk by and pop in
he
for a
really
drink?
doesn't have like too many girlfriends, you know. And his friends are kind of my friends, and they're same kind of stuff, more daytime people, like not
Where is she from originally?
Melbourne Beach, I believe. Cocoa Beach, somewhere up on the East Coast, yeah.
You guys own the house?
No.
Oh, you got a landlord?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your landlord?
God, I know him, but I know his son is Rob. I'm trying to think of his last name. He owns like 4 houses around here.
Okay. All right.
I can't think of it. An older Cuban guy, but a real nice guy. Drives a white Titan. I'll think of it, but I just know his son's name is Rob. He used to live in Key Haven, like right on one of the waterfront properties. But
okay.
Can you get him set up with some statement forms?
Yeah. Where you want him to have him do that at?
Oh, back of the trunk might be the easiest
Let me go
spot.
run to my car real quick, and I'll be right back. All right.
One oddly official thing. Can you just raise your right hand for me?
Yeah.
You swear that all those statements were the truth to the best of your belief or knowledge?
I do.
It's odd how that is important.
Hey, it is what it is. It could be a comfort thing or whatever, but there's no reason to make anything up or lie. I got in trouble enough when I was a kid, and it's been 15 years since I had handcuffs on me until tonight.
Has anyone here told you about your buddy?
No, I've been asking, but no.
Sorry to tell you, he passed away.
Oh my gosh. I had a feeling that's why they weren't saying nothing.
Does this seem something completely out of character for her?
I think it's out of character for everybody. I've never hung out with him to consider a reasonable human being.
Well, I agree with
that.
that.
Makes sense, you know? So yeah, I say it's way out of character. If what I think happened, I don't know.
Putting together the story in your head, I'm sure you've been going over it over and over for the past 5 hours.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Not a whole lot. I don't see it coming out and getting to that level. But I don't see it being an accident where something just got dropped on the ground and somehow went off. And what he told me, I mean,
How solid are the walls inside? Like, do you hear stuff if you're inside sleeping?
I mean, I can hear the dogs, but
You hear the dogs like when they're barking loud.
but outside, yeah. But it's not like, it's pretty quiet.
If we were just chatting in the living room, would you be able to hear our conversation in the bedroom?
I doubt it.
We were yelling in the living room. Would you hear that?
Yeah. Yep.
If someone was yelling downstairs, would you hear that?
I think so. To a certain extent, the same as like if the dog would freak out down there. I think I would hear something downstairs.
You think that would wake you up all the way up there? If you were passed out from working?
I mean, not necessarily, no. Yeah, I didn't, no. It would have to be loud if I'm sleeping, you know. I'm a pretty light sleeper on the boat. It's part of listening noises, and like I got ran over by a tugboat a year and a half ago, and it kind of PTSD'd me, so I have a hard time sleeping on the boat. So put a hole 2 spots in the boat, and I had to drive in.
With a hole in the boat?
Yeah, 2 holes, but yeah.
You know, just all your basic information here.
Yep.
And then just your statements of events of anything rare. And then if you need more paper, then just ask me, because I just don't want you to write through it because it goes through all the copies. So,
when you saw the gun laying there, did you touch it at any time?
No.
Did you? You know, you were kind of on top of him, right? She was trying to talk you through CPR. Did you start CPR or try?
Nope, that's when I saw him started to breathe again,
okay.
And that's when Brittany kind of moved him a little bit, and maybe told me don't move him. And I said that to her, like, just keep him still as you can.
Did you touch him anywhere?
It's on his left arm.
Okay.
I was just trying to look comfortable. Like, it's the only time I touched him.
Do you do any gardening, plant care, tossing out fertilizers and stuff? What were you doing yesterday before you came home? Were you at work on the boat?
Yes.
What kind of work were you doing?
Making leaders.
So like just twisting.
Yeah, tying the leaders and a little bit of cleaning. We're kind of getting ready to. We got to take the fish off today. We're just getting every little thing, all the trash out the boat.
Is it all just frozen down there in the build for or freezers obviously for like a couple days till you get it off?
No, it's all ice. We carry a lot of ice, so it's we don't have any freezer really.
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of like pirate ship days kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's hard, especially with the bait, to keep the bait good that long, because I take like 1,000 pounds of bait, so it's like strength in numbers and small area with insulation and whatnot.
And obviously it's getting warm out. You're not under arrest or anything like that. But if you want to pop a seat and leave the door open in the back of the car, at least the AC's on, you can get cooled off a little bit. All right?
Really good. If I go on the bushes.
I'm walking over there.
Okay.
Investigators want to know if Tyler's last words are true and go to ask Brittany some tough questions.
Hey, Brittany. Detective Costa, I'm from the Sheriff's Office. Detective McNally. We're here trying to gather some information about what happened this morning. Okay. So, sorry to have to tell you this, but Tyler's passed away. That's why we're all here. Okay? That's why it's important for us to figure out what happened. Okay?
No. No.
We don't know either. We're just showing up. We're trying to figure it out after the fact. Okay? So we got a couple of questions. Before we start asking these questions, we have some stuff we have to read to you. I'm sure you're watching Law and Order or Dateline back in the day. Alright?
Tyler's not alive.
But before we can talk much more about what happened, we have to read this to you and make sure that you understand it, okay? Before you ask any questions, you must understand the following rights. You have the right to remain silent, and you do not have to talk to me if you do not wish to do so. You do not have to answer any of my questions. Do you understand that, right? Should you talk to me, anything which you might say may be introduced as evidence in court against you. Do you understand that? I just want to hear you.
Yeah.
If you want to have a lawyer present during questioning at this time or any time hereafter, you are entitled to have a lawyer present. Do you understand that? Yes. Yes. If you cannot afford to pay for a lawyer, one will be provided for you at no cost if you want one. Do you understand that, right? Knowing these rights, are you now willing to answer my questions without having a lawyer present?
Yes.
What you need to do is just initial with your answers and then sign here at the bottom. How long have you known?
2 years.
Where did you guys meet?
We were roommates.
Roommates? You guys met when you were roommates, or you're still roommates right now?
We met when we were roommates.
Where at? Bay Point. Like Bay Point condos? Or Bay Point Long Island? What?
Long Island.
What?
Long Island, Bay Point, the neighborhood.
How long have you guys lived here?
September, October.
Do you have any other roommates other than Jordan?
Jordan.
Jordan says that he comes and goes a lot. He's out on the boat all the time. When did he come back last, Jordan?
A day or two. No.
Okay. Was Tyler working yesterday? What does he do for work?
He was building boats. He just left his job mutually.
He left the boat building job? When did he quit?
Tuesday.
Did he have another job lined up? Or
He's been working this time.
what was the deal with the boat building job before the thing?
It's hard work, and he had advanced, and the business owner was behind in time and couldn't afford to give him raise. So it's over.
What was he doing with the buddy this week?
Just living out around fish house, digging fish range. He was going to piece together his charter boat that he was putting together.
He has a captain's license?
Now he was going to get that.
Working on it? You guys own this place? Rent?
Wait, rent.
What's rent for something like this?
$3,600. Just for extras.
What do you do for work?
I manage a paddle hut, like paddleboard, kayak rental location out of the capital.
Were you working yesterday?
Yeah. Yeah, twice.
About what time did you get home from work?
Let's see. I went to the grocery store. I went to Walgreens, so maybe like 5:30.
When you got home, who else was home?
Tyler got home like about 5 minutes after I left.
And when did Jordan get back?
Another hour or two later or something.
So when you and Tyler got back, where were you guys hanging out at? What were you guys doing?
We were relaxing, absorbing AC. Tyler, the ones like big homicide was after work, so he had me put on socks. And yeah, we were doing that, and then Jordan came in. We were home for an hour.
Okay. You guys were all just hanging out upstairs?
So, Tyler and I, we got home, did that for a while. Upstairs.
Okay. And Jordan was hanging with you guys too?
Eventually.
Like, when he got home, did he disappear for a while and come back? Or?
He's outside. He's an outside person.
Okay. Like outside down here?
I don't really pay attention all the time. He'd be there, and he'd be there. I'm just like inside, like on the couch.
Okay. Alright. What do you guys do for dinner?
Nothing much.
Alright.
I had plans to cook fish with salad. I would
You guys hanging out? You guys drinking? How much you guys normally drink?
not a lot actually. I haven't drank anything since like last Saturday. I went paddleboarding with girlfriends and had some drinks then. Tyler hasn't drank since maybe the same day. Not any soon.
That's kind of normal for you guys? How much do you think you drank last night?
I don't know, a lot.
Like 5 or 6 beers, like 2 bottles of rum? I don't know, it's a lot.
A lot. Like, I don't know. I drank probably 4 seltzers, and then Tyler and Jordan went to the store and came back with beers, and so I can't tell you how many of those I had, really. I don't know, because they were kind of all on the table, and then I threw them all in the box. So.
When you guys were drinking down here or upstairs in the living room? Or?
No, we were drinking downstairs.
Okay. How long do you think you were out here hanging out drinking? Like,
A while. Like 7 hours probably.
you got home at like 5:30, 6 o'clock-ish. We got home a little after you. And then Jordan maybe an hour after that. So 7 o'clock. Were you drinking like into this morning? Or
It might be midnight or 1.
pretty late?
I would say like midnight or 1. Yeah. Yeah, because that's my, like, I gotta shut it down. Whether I have to work or not, I can't stay up all night. That's really the last thing I remember is being like, alright, I gotta shut it off and lay down in bed, and Tyler laid down in bed with me. The dogs were in bed with us.
At the point where you went upstairs, was it still you and Jordan and Tyler down here? And it was just like they were going to bed?
So, yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, I initiated the, like, I'm going to bed, and Tyler will always follow right behind me, you know, or vice versa.
Did you notice if Jordan stayed behind down here or if he went back upstairs?
He's always around the same time, too. It's just, you know,
But you and Tyler went upstairs first?
I think so. I honestly don't know. for sure.
When you got in upstairs, did you do anything else or go right to bed? Make some food?
No, I don't make it. I just went to bed. I need some water.
Water and drink.
Put my phone in, put my Apple Watch in the charger, sleep, my normal time.
Huh?
Lay down in bed, got my dogs.
And was Tyler there with you? What bedroom was yours? So, not the one you're walking in the hallway, the door's right there, it's off to the side of the right? Okay. What's the next thing that you remember?
Holding Tyler.
What?
Holding Tyler.
Holding Tyler? Where were you at?
In the kitchen.
Do you remember how you got to the kitchen? So you laid down in bed with you, Tyler, and the dogs, and then the next thing that you remember, you're in the kitchen. Okay. And where was Tyler?
Lying
Lying down. Okay. Do you remember how he was laying?
Oh, it's holding. Yeah.
Where was he bleeding from? Okay. What was he saying?
Nothing.
Was he conscious? Did you see him still there? Okay. Were his eyes open?
Oh no.
Okay. Did he mention anything?
I started screaming.
Okay.
And I was screaming for Jordan to fall. I'm alive.
And Jordan was he there with you? Where was?
Jordan was in his room.
Okay. Okay. So did Jordan come out of his room?
Yeah.
Alright. And what does he do?
Please.
Okay. Yes. Where are you in relation to Tyler?
I'm holding him.
Like, is he laying across your lap? Or, okay. Like, he was like seated in your lap?
I tried.
Huh?
I tried to
Right.
hold
Okay.
him up.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to keep him awake.
Okay. And what's the next thing that happened after that?
That's weird.
He showed up. Okay. Did he mention anything?
Tyler?
Did he make any statements to anybody? Did you walk away from Tyler at any point before the police showed up? Or were you holding on to him the whole time?
I was holding him.
Okay. And then after that, the officers brought you down here. Did you talk to Jordan at all?
By the time that I was brought outside, Jordan was in handcuffs. In the front yard.
Do you remember Tyler getting out of bed at any point last night? You don't know how he got from bed to the living room?
No.
When you got to the living room, did you notice any other injuries on it?
He's bleeding everywhere.
Did you notice any of the marks of any blood? Did you see anything that might have caused any injuries around?
I just saw a lot of blood everywhere.
Okay. Do you know if there's any firearms in the house? What kind of firearms are there?
A lot of blood.
A lot of them? How many? About?
6.
Okay. Shotguns, rifles, pistols?
Maybe 3 pistols and 3 or 4 rifles.
How often do you guys shoot?
Tyler I used to go to the range. I don't shoot anymore.
When's the last time you get shot in the handgun? Or in the range?
I guess the last time. I used to go to the range on Stupid.
Alright, so a long time ago. How long ago did you live up there?
This was 5 years.
So you don't think you've shot a gun in 5 years?
Why?
Well, it's going to take some doctor's examination, but it looks like you might have been shot. I'm trying to figure out how that might have happened. Do you have any ideas? Okay. How was the relationship between Jordan and Tyler?
Our relationships are good.
There's no fights, arguments.
They're great. We're great. Tyler and I ever had arguments, we just talk it out. Sometimes we'd have like stupid arguments or separate ways, and then we group and talk it out.
When's the last time you guys think you had an argument?
Maybe like earlier in the week. I was stressed out about the job situation.
About him leaving the fiberglass job? I'd say maybe
Yeah.
30 come out of the ring.
It wasn't that big of an argument. Like it wasn't even really like a thing. I just gave him space, and we talked like half an hour later. And it was fine.
Has there ever been any history of domestic violence between you guys?
Like I said, we've had our like fights, but
Fights like arguing, yelling, and screaming back and forth?
I mean that's the extent.
Are there any punches, pushes? No? Nothing physical? Has the sheriff's office ever been out here before? No? Are any of the firearms in the house yours? Which one is that? Some handgun, pistol, rifle. You know what model it is?
9mm.
Okay. That's something you carry regularly?
I just leave it out.
Do you have a permit to carry? Still valid? I could need it in a couple of days, but okay. Where is that gun now? Like on top of a nightstand or in a drawer or a locker? Or...
Can't go to nightstand. There's one on my side, one on Tyler's side.
Okay.
Just leave it.
When you were sleeping last night, did you hear any sounds, motion? You don't remember what made you get up and leave the bed last night? Do you think you were intoxicated to the point that you don't remember, or?
I honestly don't even feel like this is real right now.
Takes some time to sit in. Sure. Is there any reason that there would have been a pistol on the ground in the living room?
I just put it there, I would say. I
Makes sense. Do you remember having it at any point last night? Were you guys checking out guns down here? Or?
We've done that sometimes, but
Okay. You don't remember anything else that could have happened to Tyler? There's no pushing last night, shoving, punches, nothing that could have caused any other injuries to him? Did Tyler walk away at any point after he came out? I'm sorry, Jordan walk away at any point after he saw Tyler on the ground?
Did he?
Walk away? Did he leave? Or were you guys all together?
I think he just opened the door and let the cops in. I don't know. I was holding Tyler facing the door.
So you guys were all just huddled up around him?
I don't know. I remember holding him and the police officer came close to me and like touching his ear.
At the point where the police showed up, was he still moving around a little bit or semi-conscious? Not a lot. Was he able to try to say anything or move his lips? Or, you don't remember him saying anything? Jordan's saying that he remembers Tyler was on the ground, you were behind him, and Tyler made the statement, "Call 911, she just shot me." You remember that? Is there any reason why you might have said that? You think that's something that's possible? No? There's a fairly large gap in your memory, it seems. Do you remember anything else? Because the only part of the story that we have right now is you screaming, Jordan walking out, seeing you guys there. Tyler's already hurt, blood everywhere. There's a gun off to the side. And Tyler says, "Call 911, she just shot me." We want to fill in these gaps. It's pretty important that we figure out exactly what happened for everybody. Let's say right now the only story that we have points to you shooting. So I need you to think. Take a second and see if you can remember anything else that happened between you laying down in bed and you in the kitchen. Is there anything else that you think you might have left out? You forgot? Just came back to you?
I would never shoot him. So
one thing that's going to help us try to figure out what happened is if you let us take swabs of your hands. Is that something you would be consenting to let us do?
why?
Oh, we don't know who fired the gun. That's going to help us figure it out. Have you washed your hands since this morning? No? Would you be willing to consent to us taking a swab of your hands?
I don't think so. I have blood all over my hands. I don't know. Like, you guys maybe know. I have Tyler's blood all over me.
Do you have your phone down here somewhere? Or is it still
I
upstairs?
don't know. As far as I know, I plugged it in. I went to sleep, but
Alright. We're gonna go back and keep asking some more questions and see if we can figure out what's going on.
I need to feed my dogs.
If you let us know where the food is, you can certainly put it in a bowl for them. But right now, it's a crime scene that's sealed off.
I have to eat. I have to
Huh?
I need to eat and
Okay.
go to the restroom.
We could probably bring it down here. Is there like a bag of food that we can bring down too? Where might that be? Is it like in a big dog food bag?
Toad.
So, okay. And you're alright if we go up there and grab it for you guys? Before we go back, is there anything else that you remember?
I don't know. Like, I don't understand. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just need to sit here and think about it for a minute. Like, I don't understand. I don't know.
Right now, the only information we have is that one story. So if there's anything else that you remember, it's going to be important for you to let us know. Alright? I'll give you a minute to see if we can get the dogs taken care of, okay? Hang on right here.
Real quick. Before you went to bed, where were you at before you went to bed?
We're all down here.
So you went straight from down here right to your bedroom to go to bed?
Nothing. So, I don't know. Drunk.
You're drunk?
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably went, I know he went to the kitchen, made a glass of ice water,
Okay.
and then went to bed.
Okay. And when did Tyler go to bed?
Same time I did.
Same time you did? Okay. What color's your phone?
Purple.
Purple? Is it an iPhone or iPhone? Okay. And that's like a purple case or a purple actual phone? An actual purple phone? Okay. But nothing from when you woke up? Why did you come up to the kitchen?
I have no idea.
You have no clue?
Honestly, I don't know.
Alright. Well, try and recollect those memories and see what made you get up.
Sometimes we can remember some things better if we start reviewing that version of events and what happened. Alright? What I'll ask you to do, if you want to, is to just write out a story of what happened from when you got home to right now. Want to do that for us?
I don't know if I can do that right now.
Okay.
I really just need to take this.
Okay. Really what?
Need a minute.
You need a minute? Okay.
Yeah, we'll be back.
When detectives return to speak to Brittany, she has more information to share.
Deep breath. Alright? Just take a deep breath. Recollect what you just told me, okay?
I don't know.
Where did all that take place at?
In the bed.
In the bed?
He was strangling me. And then he pushed me up against the wall. Like, I was just like trying to get him off me, and I think I hit him. He tried to get up and get away, and then he grabbed me. I remember he grabbed me by my throat again, and he hit me up against the wall. Back wall.
Which wall is this you're talking about when you say that?
Like, back. I don't know why he was strangling me. And he said,
I need to sit down. Maybe a little more comfortable.
I need some water.
Okay.
I'm dehydrated.
Yeah. Can you
I
find
don't know what the f*** is
bottle of
going
water?
on.
Okay. So, Can you start me from what's the first thing you remember now?
Don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why would he ever do that to me. I don't.
So you guys are in bed.
I don't know. I don't know what started. I don't know.
Okay. Well, what do you remember?
Him strangling me. Like, he was trying to kill me. Like, get my esophagus and everything.
Can I just take a look at your neck? Okay.
Up here. Everything. I remember it. The wall.
Okay.
Because I
Can I
think
just take a look at this side of your neck?
the wall. He
Okay.
put me up on the wall, and my dad did that to me.
Okay. Do you remember lying in bed first, or you remember just being against the wall?
No, we were in bed.
Okay.
We went to sleep. Like, we
Okay.
were fine. We cuddled. Like, we have a great relationship. Like, a really fucking good relationship.
Okay.
Like, I just don't understand.
So when did this happen?
I don't know.
Did this happen last night?
Yeah.
Okay. At what point last night did this happen?
I don't know. After I laid down. I don't know.
You laid down after.
I was sleeping already, and I woke up. I don't know. I don't know why.
Okay. So you remember being in bed with him strangling you?
It's leaking on the bottom, just trying to drink. It's cold though. It's fresh water.
Tyler did that to me one time before.
Okay. So you're in bed, and how do you wake up?
I have no idea. I don't know. I just know that I remember not being able to breathe, and
Okay.
he was like crushing my esophagus,
All right. And where was he?
like on his side of the bed, but like up
Up like.
on his
Like how?
knees, like I don't know.
You don't know?
Honest-
Okay. Remember what hand he was using?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Both,
Okay.
I feel like
All right. What happened next?
I don't know. I probably was definitely screaming. I remember trying to scream because I was trying to wake Jordan up to help me.
Okay.
And I remember just screaming really loud. And he just kept doing it. He did it more than once. And like I tried to get away and go out the room, and he followed me and pinned me up against that wall
Which wall is this?
in my bedroom.
The back wall, or one of the kind of side walls? Do you remember?
Like the back wall.
Okay.
And like my dad did this to me when I was little, and I think it made me freak out a little bit, and probably I started swinging. I don't know, but he held me up by my throat.
You say held you up like off the ground?
Yeah, like
Okay.
you know, I don't know why. I don't know why we had everything. Like,
How did you escape?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
He had you with his hand around your neck up against the wall.
I don't know why you would do that.
What's the next thing that you remember after that?
I don't understand. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay.
It's such a good, strong relationship. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Do you remember how you guys got from the bedroom to the living room?
No.
Okay.
I remember screaming and like trying to scream, and he just kept trying to strangle me.
Okay.
Why? I don't know why. I don't know.
Was the gun on the nightstand at this point?
I don't know. It stays there. I don't know. I don't even understand like why we were fighting or what.
Okay.
At all.
Do you remember how you got out of that situation?
No.
And what's the next thing that you remember after being up against the wall? Holding him where?
I don't make any sense. It makes no sense.
In that memory where you're holding him, where were you?
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen. Okay. You remember where the gun is at that point?
No, I don't even know why. I don't even understand what the whole. I don't get it. None of it makes sense.
It seems like you're describing a relatively violent encounter there.
Yeah.
Was there a fight at that point? Were you throwing punches and scratches? I mean, if someone's strangling me,
Yeah.
I'm fighting as hard as I can to get away from that, right?
Yeah, I did because he pinned me up against the wall.
Okay.
I didn't know what else to do. And then he got really mad. I don't know.
Do you remember what you were doing to try to escape? Do you think you might have scratched him or punched him or?
I'm sure all of it.
All of it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure all of it. I don't know. I'm not a f***ing murderer. I would never kill him. I love him so much.
Well, it seems at this point you're trying to describe protecting yourself.
I don't know. I wish I knew.
Do you think it's possible in that fight, when he's trying to strangle you, that you might have picked up that gun?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know why we were fighting. I don't understand why. I don't. This doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't.
Well, it makes some sense is if he had just quit his job, I could see how that would be pretty stressful.
No, he's not a bad person. No. Absolutely not. No.
Meaning more that now
Tyler has faults, but he's not a bad person at all. Absolutely.
I'm not saying he's a bad person. He said he was in a job that he wasn't really liking,
I don't.
and he quit to try to find something else. But right now, nothing else is lined up, and
He's fine. He
rent is what, $3,600 a month?
was more happy. He was more.
Yeah.
I don't know. He wasn't happy with his job at all. But he's a good human.
Mhm.
He's the most just caring people I've ever met in my entire life.
Well, that's a lot of stress to not know how you're going to pay next month's rent. Do you guys split it between you, Tyler, and the other half, Jordan?
We should three-way.
3 ways? I mean, even $1,200 is a lot of money if you're not.
I don't understand. I don't.
Do you remember anything else in the kitchen?
This is Tyler's. I can't. I don't know.
Alright. I'll give you a second, okay? Alright, hang out. Let me see if I have anything else. So, at this point, we've kind of remembered that you're fighting to survive at this point. You said that it was getting hard to breathe when he was choking you?
I don't understand why any of this is happening. Like, I don't understand why any of this is happening.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like a crazy, violent encounter. I mean, obviously it's scary. When you were up against the wall there, where were you? Like, still next to the bed? No? How far away from the bed do you think you were?
I was on the other wall by the window.
Wall by, like, the back window? And where's the bed in relation to that back window? We haven't been inside to check it out yet. Okay. So which way does the bed go? Like, this way in the house? The head is over here? Okay. And so the foot of the bed is over here, and the back window's there. Okay, where are you?
On this wall.
On the wall? Okay. Do you think you were within, like, arm's reach of the nightstand?
I don't know. I think I was trying to get away.
Sure.
I just don't know why or what was going on, but I think he just kept trying to strangle me, like, over and over again.
Like, you felt him squeezing over and over again, or did you get away and then he grabbed you again over and over again?
Both.
All right. I mean, I can see how you're doing anything you can to get away from him.
I don't have to get away from him is the thing. Like, he's the most kind person.
Well, not at this moment.
I don't know.
I mean, you're in fight or flight mode right there if somebody's strangling you.
He was strangling me.
I mean, that's crazy.
He did it before.
At that point, it doesn't matter who it is to you. You're trying to get out of there alive. Did you reach over to the nightstand and grab the gun to scare him?
I don't know. I would never want to hurt him, ever. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I did. I don't remember. I remember holding him and kissing him. And he was just bleeding out.
Because I'll tell you, if I'm in a fight for my life and I can reach over and grab a gun on a nightstand,
I would never shoot a person. I would never kill, like...
well, it's a pretty good way to scare somebody off, even just holding it, grabbing it. I'm not saying you have to grab it to shoot him, but if you can reach it and he knows you have it, he might back up.
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
You want another cup of water?
You got another full water?
I had to fill up the hose. I don't have it.
Water, great.
He's never had any violent tendencies in the past?
Yeah,
He has? What happened?
he did that before.
He did that? How long ago was that?
I don't know, like 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay. Did you call us?
He, I was able to just get away from him and go back to bed, and he was blacked out. I don't know. I don't think it.
How did you get away from him that time?
I had pushed him off of me, and I think I scratched him on his neck or something. Pushed him.
Was he that drunk last night?
I don't know. He switches, and he hasn't really drank since that last time. And I just don't know. Yeah, I would assume so, because he definitely drink a lot, I would say, for sure.
You think that's what switches him from kind, cuddly boyfriend, kind of crazy?
It's the only thing. He's a wonderful human being otherwise. He would never hurt anyone unless he was defending his family. You know? Never. It's not him at all.
So the last time he was super drunk, and this time he was drinking for the first time in a while.
Me too. I don't know. And I don't know. I don't know how to just except try to get away. I don't know what to do. He wouldn't leave me alone though.
Do you remember trying to get out of the bedroom?
I think I don't know.
You remember leaving the bedroom?
No.
No?
I remember screaming.
Okay. I'm sorry that happened to you.
This is a lot. I cannot comprehend this right now. This is too much. Fucking definite.
Take a second, and maybe some more stuff is gonna come back to you. When you were up against the wall, did you see a look in his eye that you didn't remember? That was weird.
I don't know. He kept screaming at me, saying things that weren't making sense, calling me you slut, and saying that he was gonna teach me a lesson, and that just shit that made no sense at all. And he was just look at what you're doing to me, and I was I'm not doing anything at all. This makes no sense. You're not making any sense. Just go back to bed. And then I'm just screaming, trying to make a noise so that Jordan could hear me. Anyone. I don't know what to do at that point.
Sure.
Tyler would never hurt me. It's not him. But you did.
It seems like what you're describing is flipping a switch that's not him.
It's not.
Almost a different person that you're dealing with at that point.
It's not. It's scary. It's not at all. I've seen it happen before, and just leave him alone and go in another room or something, but it has only happened like 3 times, 4 times. Like, he's a really good man.
I mean, 3 or 4 like arguments, or 3 or 4 times he's like attacked you.
He's just like blacked out. He's only attacked me, I guess, twice. Maybe 3 times, but the other time I don't even remember. But we both had some bruises, so I don't know what the f happened. That was a long time ago.
You guys been together what, like a year-ish?
Yeah, like 9 months.
9 months. When you were up against the wall, did you have the feeling like, this is it?
I thought he was gonna rip my esophagus out of my skin. He was like crushing it.
So he wasn't just pushing, he was like, squeeze.
Crushing up my throat. Like, I couldn't make noise or breathe at all. Like, what the fuck? He kept doing it and screaming at me like, I don't even understand.
I mean, at that point, I'm doing everything I can to get away from that dude. Especially if you think that it's the point where you're passing out or you're dying. I mean, if you're at the point where you're fighting to survive, anything goes.
It was like fine. We didn't have any arguments. I think he got up and used the restroom and then came back and then was like a different person. Because we were cuddling and really comfortable and going to bed and like loving each other like normal. And came back from the restroom and I don't even know. Said something and I was like, what? And he just snapped. I don't understand.
Well, at that point, it's perfectly understandable. Someone reaches over that nightstand and grabs that self-defense gun that they have.
I can't see myself really doing that. Like, you know.
How else do you think he might have gotten away?
I mean, I think I punched him in the face. You know. There's that.
You punched him?
I'm pretty sure. It's my reaction. My dad did that to me when I was young, and it's fucking gave me PTSD. And I split his eyebrow. What are you gonna do? It was the same thing for me. It brought me back to my childhood, and I lost my mind. I'm sure I was swinging and scratching or whatever. I don't know.
I've never met him before. Is he a big dude?
He's like about my height, you know. Like a good size.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty built.
And he works outside building boats and stuff all day. Pretty strong guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely strong. He's a good person.
But in an all-out brawl, you versus him. Is he overpowering you?
Oh, probably. I mean, yeah, probably for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think so. I get that in any situation, but it's just not realistic.
What's not realistic?
Thinking that somebody tried to come and kidnap me, I could just get away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's very strong. So,
Especially if you're up against a wall, being choked out. I mean, I don't see many other ways you're able to get out of there. And you're lucky you're not lying on the ground and they're still. It doesn't take a whole lot to, crush your windpipe.
You wouldn't do that. I don't know.
Well, it seems like we're not dealing with Tyler at this point. He's not there anymore. Said he went to the bathroom, came back, and he was a different person. So you might not even be fighting with Tyler. Whatever switch flipped when he was out of the room. He's in monster mode. So if you're able to defend yourself any way possible at that point, we understand that. The question is, how did it happen?
I really don't know.
I mean, all here's big dude. He's on top of me. And he's crushing me. He's choking me out. Huh?
I would never want to do that.
I wouldn't want to do it either. Nobody wants to shoot anybody. Nobody wants to hurt anybody. Not normal people. Not people in their right mind. But if there's a big dude who's overpowering me, lights are going out, it is what it is. If it's you versus him, that's something we can understand. And that's something that makes sense.
I don't know. I just don't. I would never want to hurt anyone so much. He just wasn't himself.
Mm-hmm. It seems that way. Because even Jordan's saying he was a super nice guy.
So nice.
Friends for years.
So nice. He's such a good person.
When I asked him about fights or problems, he's like, no. So it seems like the guy in the bedroom, sure, it might have been Tyler, but it was not. Whatever switch flipped, you weren't dealing with him.
I was scared.
Sure. And it's understandable. If you see the gun over there on the nightstand, you're against the bedroom wall, it's right there. If you grab it, just to show it to him, fine. If there's some argument over it, even if he's choking you out and that's the last seconds you have on this earth, and you get him off you by using it, I'd do the same thing.
Doesn't deserve to be hurt.
What was that?
He does not deserve to be hurt. He's a good person.
Well, Tyler is. This monster mode person doesn't sound like he's in the best mind frame to be a nice person. If he's on top of you, strangling you in the bed, and then grabbing you and holding you up against the wall by your throat, squeezing. Any reasonable person knows that that's how you kill somebody.
Yeah, he was trying to kill me. He really was. Honestly. He was trying to and he almost did.
That sounds like it. You're up against the wall, being strangled. He said he's trying to kill you. It's to that point. That gun's on a nightstand. I can stop this right now. That's something I can understand. Something Paul can understand. That's something anybody's going to understand.
Well, I don't really think his parents are going to understand that. Or like any of his friends. I mean, he's not alive, right?
Well, Mommy and Daddy always think that everybody's the perfect little angel. They don't understand other sides of people.
I don't know anything besides when I was holding him. I don't know.
We just need something that we can explain to them.
To who?
You said his parents are not going to understand. We don't understand at this point.
Yeah,
I know where it's leading,
I don't understand.
but if we could explain to them,
I don't know
this is what happened.
where it's leading. Where is it leading? I don't know. I don't understand any of this. I was just, paddleboarding this morning. Life stuff.
And even if he lets you go and starts walking away, you're still a threat. He just tried to kill you.
Am I?
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm glad that you're here. Want to give it another couple minutes to see if anything else pops back in your head?
I mean, where does this lead? Where do we go?
Well, hopefully at the end of the story, we're able to put together how it gets from him almost killing you to him being on the ground in the living room. That's the gap that we need to fill any way it is. Whatever the story is, something happened, and it can be perfectly explainable.
Has anyone reached out to his parents?
We're still trying to make notification to them. We would like, a version of events. There's no doubt they're going to have questions. If we can at least give them, I don't know how to say it, this is what happened. It seems like he was drunk, maybe snapped, and he was trying to kill his girlfriend. And she fought back to protect herself. He didn't survive. I mean, have you ever met his parents before?
I haven't met his dad.
Maybe he has bipolar disorder that you didn't know about.
Nope, it's just kind of a thing that happens when he drinks. His mom knows about it too.
Who knows about it?
He told me his parents know about it too. That's why we haven't been drinking. We're healthy people. And I can't really have a hard time believing that this is real. It's real.
Do you remember him disengaging from you? Is it?
Choking me?
Yeah, from letting you go.
I don't. Not at all. No, I don't remember that at all. I don't remember going to the living room. I don't know if he tried to throw me out the window. I'm not really sure. I don't.
We have like 99% of the story that makes perfect sense. We can follow it A to Z, except for those middle few letters. That's the only part that we need to be able to say, hey, this was a violent encounter. Somebody was fighting for their life. They thought they were about to be killed, strangled, choked out. Said that they felt like this was it. And they fought back any way they could to save themselves. We have a story to be able to protect you with.
Yeah. We're gonna have to move out of here. For one.
It's that blank that leaves the questions.
I don't know. I really, I don't.
We just need that 2 minutes, wherever it is, in the middle, to be able to paint a story to everybody. So we can go from, I don't know, his girlfriend shot him, killed him, to she didn't want to die. She was being killed. She was fighting for survival. Those are two wildly different stories. But from one to the other, only takes those 2 minute gap.
I don't know, I don't know. Say.
You can say what happened.
I don't know.
Alright. I'll be back. I know this whole sequence of events this morning was terrifying if I were you. I'd have no idea what to do right now. But I understand how being in that situation, through your eyes, that's it. It's about to be game over. And at that point, I would be fighting for my life. He came out of that bathroom, not even being him anymore. You don't even know who you're fighting against. If it were me, my mind would go to, it's him, or it's me, and I need to get out of this situation somehow. We could get that small little bit in the middle, how you got away from it. You would be able to bring everybody the full story of what happened. And if you fought to get away, and that's what ended up in this situation, I think everybody's going to understand that. I don't think you'd have to be worried about anybody coming after you. Especially if this is not the first time that he's beat on you. Did you tell anybody that first time? That's a pretty common thing. People keep this in. People don't know what happens. So it could be a big shock once other people understand. But if we can give them the full story, this isn't the first time this has happened.
I'm not a murderer. I mean, about? Or like, are you trying to get me to say that I killed him?
I'm trying to put together what happened so that we can get a full story of how you got away from him. And that we can tell everybody else that this is not what she was planning on doing. She wasn't sitting there all night plotting this. We're gonna have to get the complete story to even know. If it's you versus him, it was him versus me in that situation. I know what I'm doing. Especially if that gun's right there on the nightstand. I'm surviving.
Yeah, but then what, like, do you spend your life in prison for surviving? Or do you, what happens to people? I don't know what happened. I could, like, make up a story that I feel like I would do. I would go out of the room to get away from him. What happened after that? I don't know. I don't even remember leaving the room. Really.
We don't want you to make up anything.
But what happens to me? Like, do I go on trial, or do I? What happens?
At this point, the only thing that we have is there was some sort of altercation, and then you're cradling him, covered in blood, with a gun nearby. That's it. With just that part of the story, it's going to have to go to a judge and a jury to try to piece together the other part.
Definitely, that shows sympathy, that you did care, and you could hear, you crying on the call. So obviously you do care about him. How long were you guys together?
9 months.
9 months. Where'd you meet?
Here. We were roommates first. Yeah.
So you guys love, or where were you guys at in the relationship?
Yeah, we thought that we were soulmates, actually.
It just shows, if this was self-defense, it shows the judge that you do have sympathy and that you do love him and care about him, and this is not what you wanted to happen.
Yeah. I really don't know what happened. Then what? How does this end regardless? Like, do I go and sit in jail?
Well, we have to do our investigation and find out who did this to him.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be 100% honest with you. At this point, it looks like you did.
Yeah. Well, I think we all got that part.
Yeah. Well, that's just me being honest with you.
So then what? Like, I sit in jail awaiting a trial for murder.
Well, if you can tell us exactly what happened leading up to, maybe there's something that we can do for you. Maybe we can talk to someone for you. We have one of our state attorneys in there with us now. Maybe there's something we can figure out for you. But I can't do that unless I know.
I just
I don't think it's fair to you.
it's not fair.
Especially going through that. You're in fear for your life.
I just don't see that part. I'm like,
You don't see that part of what?
out leaving the room. Like, I don't know.
Maybe not leaving the room, but do you remember how you got away from him as he was choking you?
No, I beat up against the wall. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Did you black out?
I I don't know.
Do you remember a point at which he let go of you?
To me, it looks like you're a victim too.
Can you guys let my dogs outside?
Yep.
Yeah. What's that?
The dogs.
Yeah, we're gonna be going up there in a minute. Just need you to stand up for right now. Stand you around for me. This point you're under arrest.
Which car?
Sorry, there's the only one down here, I think.
Brittany Holbrook is arrested and charged with murder. As investigators build their case, they speak to Tyler's friends to get a sense of his and Brittany's relationship, as well as their impressions of Brittany. They paint a disturbing picture.
Hi, my name is Detective Scott Costa with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I'm looking to speak to Brett.
Yes, sir. This is me.
Hey, Brett, I'm working with the State Attorney's Office for Tyler Nulisch's murder.
Yes, sir.
So his stepfather, Timothy, passed along your name and your phone number, saying that you might have known him and Brittany.
Tyler, he was my best friend.
Okay, do you have a couple minutes to chat?
Yeah.
All right. Well, how did you guys meet?
Tyler, I think we met in second grade.
Oh, wow, long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. And you live down here in the Keys?
Yep.
Okay. And how often would you see Tyler, recently?
So, honestly, the last time I got to see him, we all went to our other friend we grew up with, his wedding. I want to say it was February 11th.
Okay.
Or 10th, something like that. But that was the last time I ever got to see him because just working a lot. He was working a lot. He'd call me every day at like lunch. We just had opposite schedules to where I work nights and he works, early mornings, days.
Sure. And whose wedding was that back in February?
Jeff, our other buddy we grew up with since, second grade.
And that was down here in the Keys too?
Yes, sir. It was on Big Pine. We were actually all in the wedding together.
Are y'all like groomsmen?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right.
But so I guess what you're looking for is like just what I experienced, with her.
Yeah, I've heard about this wedding. It's popped up a couple of times. What can you tell me about what went on there?
So I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. So Friday night, the wedding was Saturday. Friday night, you know how they do rehearsal dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So after, the rehearsal dinner, everything was good. We had dinner. They start drinking a little bit. She's really, belligerent. And we were all sitting by the pool having a good time. It was really, the first time I actually got to meet her and, talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so drunk. I was just kind of I was sitting next to her at the pool in the lawn chairs, and I was kind of talking to her. But she was so drunk, I wasn't really paying much attention to her because she was just belligerent. And I could have sworn, so we started talking about her dad and my buddy, Tyler. He is, I got him into hunting. Anyways, her dad has some hunting property and stuff up there, and I could have sworn she told me that, oh, my dad's selling the property. And my buddy, a week or two before, he was all excited to go hunting. My buddy, meaning Tyler, sorry.
Uh-huh.
And, I misunderstood her. Anyways, I'm driving them home because I didn't drink at all. We had to drive back to his house. And I was talking to him in the front seat. She's passed out in the back seat. And I said, "Oh, Tyler, that sucks. Her dad's selling the property." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Yeah, I was talking to her at the pool. She said her dad's selling the property." And he reaches in the back seat and says, "Hey, babe, is your dad selling the property?" And without hesitation, she throws a fucking left-hand hook and punches him in the face. And she says, "Don't ever talk about my dad." And she has no idea what we're talking about. We're not talking bad about the dad. It was like, what the f***? I got scared because I'm doing 55 mile an hour and she's throwing hooks. I thought she was going to punch me. Like, Jesus Christ. And then, we get back to the house. They argued a little bit and, like, Jesus. And she went to bed. She woke up fine the next morning like nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got home, I was on the porch, and I was like, "Tyler, like, what the f***'s going on, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, well, we got in a fight a week before. She threw all of his shit, like, either from in the house or on the porch, into the f***ing neighbors." Sorry for cussing, I just all worked up.
Sure, that's all right.
But, yeah, she threw all of his stuff. They got in a big fight, and just threw all of his stuff in the neighbor's yard. Like, "Tyler, what are you doing, dude? Like, she's got to go." And the sad thing is, Tyler, he hadn't had a girlfriend in a really long time. He's been lonely. I get where he's coming from, where he felt like maybe, he had to help her, or I don't know. What other numbers do you have? Do you have Tori?
Yeah, so the list that I just got has Phil,
Okay, good.
Tori, and John. I'm guessing it's Johnny B.
Yes, sir. So Tori, I didn't. So after the wedding, I stayed at my little sister's house with my girlfriend, and then Tyler, they stayed at Tori's house, and I'll let Tori tell you all about that. I only heard a little bit to where. They were up the rest of the night, and they ended up going home later, like way later in the morning, which they probably shouldn't have been driving. But I heard she was beating up on him the whole way to the freaking house. Like, I don't know, Tori will tell you. I wasn't there, so I can't really speak on his behalf.
Sure. So after this, did you chat much with Tyler?
Not about, none of that. I didn't hear none about what happened that night until Tori told me later on.
Mm-hmm.
But I seen it the night before, and I was like, man, jeez, something's not right. Like, her temper was just like, she was blacked out. I heard after she shot him, the cops, they put her downstairs, put her in the corner, they put the roommate in the other corner, and what does she do? She passes out on the beanbag chair. Like, how are you going to shoot someone in the back and just pass out? Like, you're up. I don't know, it's fucking sad.
Between that wedding incident, or after the wedding, did you even just keep in touch with him, even just, bullshit about random stuff about life?
Yeah. He called me every day at lunch. We had plans, like, I got property and I got family in Tennessee. We're supposed to go hunting and, had all of our trips planned out. We talked about fishing,
Did he ever mention anything else about him and Brittany after that?
Not really, no.
And then just how about, like, how life was going? Did, say he was having problems or money problems or...
So, Phil, that's the man you need to talk to, is Phil. Because I guess a week before he died, he called Phil. Because Phil, he doesn't live here, and it's more of like, maybe he can talk to a buddy that's not here and maybe won't judge him, or I don't know. So Phil got to talk to him more the week before he died and of what was going on with Brittany.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you got in the back of your head that you think's important you need to tell somebody?
this has nothing to do with anything, but I'm still waiting on a phone call from him. And I was supposed to go see him in the morning, but I never got a chance to because I have like a sickness when I get anxiety, like I start throwing up and blah, blah, blah. But is there any way like down the road I'd be able to see a picture of him? Like, dead? Just for closure. That's all it is for me, is closure. It's...
Eventually, most of that stuff would become public record, but it's going to be a little bit down the road. These kind of cases can take, a year and a half, 2 years sometimes.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
When, if a trial were to come around, most likely those would be shown in the trial too. I know you're local. If you wanted to, hop in and sit in the trial, some of that stuff would come out there as well.
Mm-hmm. That's the first time I met her was in September, like when they first started getting together, and I didn't even really, speak a word to her. We just got in from the boat. She's on the dock waiting for him. I said hi. I didn't even know her name, And then the next time I met her, from September, I met her in February for the wedding, and that was it. I don't really know. I've heard stories like my other buddy, TJ, first time he met her was like 3 or 4 weeks before this all happened, before she shot him. That they were out at Marvin, Marvin.
Yeah.
Sandbar. Mm-hmm. He was out there, and he's like, "Oh, what's up, Tyler?" And my buddy TJ, he noticed, like, something's off with her. Like, she's belligerent. Like, TJ's like, "Yo, you probably should take her in." And they ended up leaving, driving home, and I don't know, it's just, she can't handle her alcohol.
So that wedding back in February, was that at like a hotel or a resort or something?
No, so it was some house on the water, like past St. Peter's Church on the left.
All right, this is a big rental house for like events.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of
yeah, they rented 2 houses, one for their family and his family.
All right.
Or Jeff Wright, yeah.
All right. Other than those names that I rattled off to you, is there anybody else? You mentioned this TJ. Were they good buddies?
We were growing up, but once we got in our 20s, we kind of not separated, but he does his thing, we do ours. It's how it goes.
Yeah, I got you.
He's still a good friend, but just not as close as we were. Me, Tori, Phil and Tori, you need to talk to for sure.
All right. Is there anything else that's sticking out in your head?
No, but would I be able to save this number?
Sure.
This is your cell phone?
Yep. Yeah, this is my work cell phone.
Okay.
What
was your name again? I'm sorry, I'm bad with names.
No worries. Detective Scott Costa.
Thank you. Detective Scott Costa. Okay, cool.
If you got any questions or something pops up in your head and you want to let somebody know about it, you can give me a ring anytime, all right?
All right, appreciate you. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks for talking to me for a couple minutes, all right?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Detective Costa.
Detective, this is Phil.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, I'm just sorry about that. I was in a long meeting, man.
No worries. Appreciate you calling me back.
Yeah.
So here's kind of where we're at. The state attorney's office just got an email from Tyler's stepdad saying that you'd be interesting to talk to and might have some background information for us.
Yeah, I mean, me and Tyler were very close, and we've been very close. So we've lived away from each other. I was a fisherman a lot as well, so we lived away from each other for a long time. And that up until the murder happened, Tyler, we talked a lot, and I opened up a business in Indiana a few years ago, and that's what he was trying to do down there. So we talked a lot about that, and relationships as well. And I talk about my relationships to certain people, and Tyler was one of them. And Tyler got into this relationship a little under a year with Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
And when they had their differences, Tyler didn't talk much, but he did talk to me about his relationships, as I found out afterwards that he didn't speak to many people about it. That week leading up, it was a Friday, I believe, that it happened. And there should be text messages on his phone, and I'm sure you guys have them. He called me, I believe it was on Wednesday, so it was 2 days before Wednesday, and he was working on his aluminum boat that he was going to be chartering out, that he was working on to charter. And Brittany, she was a different person when she was sober than when she drank. And my girlfriend in Indiana, when she first met Brittany, she liked her, and it was a sober first introduction. And we came down to Key West again. I was flying in about every other month. And she was drunk, and it didn't go well. And then we came down with her girlfriends for her birthday in February, and it really didn't go well. Brittany was hitting Tyler and scratching him and punching him, and then there was, blood. It was a really weird situation. This was, the first weird thing we found with her is that, and I still have the shirt, she was beating Tyler up, and we were all downtown, and there were, he started bleeding, and, she used to scratch him and stuff. And she put blood on all of our shirts, on the back of our shirts. And we realized that later on, this is in February, that we all had blood marks on the back of our shirts where we thought it was weird. But we didn't really know what it was from, you know what I mean? Now we're figuring it was her. But from Tyler. But up until that last week, Tyler was focused, and he was telling me, he was like, I'm not working at Bagels anymore, building boats, something to do this charter. And he's like, it's either sink or swim. And I told him, I said, Tyler, we don't sink, dude. We only have one option, it's to swim. You have to do whatever you can about it. So he was like, you're right. So he actually stopped drinking for a week. That whole week leading up to it, he was, from what he told me, he stopped drinking until that Friday. And Wednesday he had called me, and Brittany wanted to go out. He's like, Brittany wants to go out, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I told her, I just can't. And I'm going to be, I'm working on the boat. And she went out with DJ's girlfriend that night down there. And they went over to Hogfish, and she ended up, Brittany picked up DJ's girlfriend. They lived right down the street from each other. And the night lasted maybe about 45 minutes because Brittany was so drunk. And she was talking about killing her ex-boyfriend that night. And that's what really threw DJ's girlfriend out. And she called Tyler up, and Tyler had to go pick Brittany up. So Tyler was explaining that to me the next day, and then he was working on the boat, and Brittany wanted to go to the pool, so she went to the pool with some friends. And the way he explained this to me, this should have been Thursday, the day before, and this should be in text message, because he explained it like it was a text message, that she was like, why don't you come? She's like, come have a drink with me. And Tyler's like, I don't want to drink. I'm working. And then she's like, come have some French fries with me. And Tyler was like, can you believe it? She's like trying to, get me to come out. She's drunk, trying to get me to come out with French fries. He's like, Phil, I don't care about French fries. I want to work on my boat. And that night, she got really drunk too. The next day, I talked to him as well. He was down at the docks. And, in the text messages, it should have, the French fry thing and their argument and everything that, happened with her being drunk Wednesday and Thursday and him stop drinking. I don't know what happened Friday to get him to drink again. And he did text me Friday night before this happened, and I happened to be sleeping, and I knew he was going to be hungover the next day, so I was kind of just, waiting for him to be hungover before I had to talk with him about why he started drinking again, but obviously that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But from what I recall right now, especially being put on the spot like this, I haven't really thought about it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I do know that they were having issues that week, about her drinking and about Tyler wanting to better himself. And I know she had that damn app too, which was a great idea. They both had a lot going for them, which really this whole situation is a shame. But they just, they're having their differences, and that's, Brittany lost her last relationship over drama. That's what I call it. I call it drama. Craziness. Everybody has that, but it's just her drama. And the involvement in her drinking. And we all thought, because her ex-boyfriend before Tyler, he drinks. So we thought that he brought out the worst in Brittany from drinking, but it was really just her drinking in general that brought out the worst in her. I don't know if that helps at all, or if that explains her a little bit better, or what the case is with that. But
could you tell me a little bit more about this when you came down in February and you all ended up with blood on your shirts?
It was that was a very strange situation. It was a blue Huck shirt that I was wearing. I still have it. There's still a little blood spot on the back of it.
So it was you and your girlfriend, Tyler, and her. It was
me and my girlfriend, and then she came down from Indiana because that's where I live now.
Mm-hmm.
And she came down with 3 of her girlfriends.
Okay.
And Tyler's like a little brother to me, dude. And every time I come down to Key West, Tyler's the first one that knows I'm coming down. He's the first one I see. So they happen to be out on the boat that day when we got down there that day. So we check into our hotel room, and Tyler and Brittany came and met up with us. Brittany was a sloppy mess. And we're like, Tyler, dude, this is, you guys can't go out like this,
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right. So they went home. And Chris Jaffe, who was Tyler's old roommate, who was Brittany's ex-boyfriend, he's also a friend of mine. And we were out, and I don't go to Key West often anymore. So when I do, everybody wants to meet up and hang out. So I told Tyler, I was like, listen, Jaffe is here. And I was like, you and Jaffe were great. We call him Jaffe. His name's Chris. I said, you and Jaffe were great friends. You shouldn't let, Jaffe doesn't care that you're dating Brittany. He misses you. I was like, we all just hang out together like we used to and just all be cool. And he was like, I love Jaffe, dude. He's like, the fact that Jaffe wants to hang out with me, he's like, that's great, because they had their differences when Tyler started dating her.
Mm-hmm.
So that night was the first night that so Tyler rewind. So Tyler was like, let me talk to Brittany about this, and I'll let you know if she's okay with it. It's all right. So he calls me. He's like, it's fine, dude. Brittany said it's cool that Jaffe wants to be cool again. Well, I'll come down there. So Jaffe was with us. Tyler and Brittany show up. We were over at wherever Raw Bar down there,
mm-hmm.
and when Brittany sees, they walk in. When Brittany sees Jaffe, she had a blank look on her face. Tyler sees Jaffe. He's smiling. Jaffe's smiling. I was right there. They hugged each other, and it was kind of awesome that that they were going to be friends again. You know what I mean? They could let this go past them.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't Brittany's plan. Brittany was hoping that there was going to be some sort of scuffle or drama involved in this situation, and she got mad at Tyler for not doing anything about Jaffe being there. And Tyler obviously was like, what are you talking about? When this was neutral, and I told you that we were coming down here and it was all going to be all right. Well, we walked over. I have another buddy of mine that used to fish for me in Virginia, and he ended up moving down there. He works at American Rock Bar as a bartender now, or bar manager, whatever it is. So I said, let's go see Travis over at Rock Bar. So we all walk over there, and I was talking to Travis because I haven't seen him in a while. And Tabitha and her girlfriends, and they still talk about this to this day. And I never saw this side of Brittany. And after they heard what happened, they were all like, we kind of aren't surprised by this situation because she was so nuts that night. But over at American Rock Bar, she was like scratching and slapping Tyler, and everybody felt very uncomfortable about the situation. Later on in the night, they're like, Phil, you have blood on your shirt. And then I guess Tyler had the blood on his shirt. And my other buddy, Eric, they said had the blood on his shirt too. And then they were making a joke, and they were calling her a witch. Like, oh, the witch, she put blood on your guys' shirt. We didn't think anything of it. You know what I mean? I didn't, at least. But now we're kind of, as we talk about it more, we're like, wow, like that 100% could have been her doing that.
When you said that she was like scratching and slapping at him, was like a big blowout argument between them, or were they just, I don't know, sitting next to each other and she's like, I don't know.
We were standing up. It was more her yelling at Tyler. It was all because Jaffe was there. Jaffe was hanging out with us, and Tyler hugged Jaffe. She didn't want them two to be friends. And they were best friends. You know what I mean? And that's why I brought them together that night. because we're all best friends, man. You know what I mean? Like, and she didn't like that situation at all whatsoever. So, anyways, what happened that night? Tyler texted me, and I was sleeping again. He texted me that night, and he's like, "We're done." And I called him in the morning. He was like, "Not good. We're done," or something like that. I was reading the text message not too long ago, and I called him the next morning, and he was like, "Brittany broke a bunch of shit in the house. Jordan was there for this. If you talk to Jordan about Tabitha's birthday with Phil and Tabitha being down there, he'll explain what happened that night. But she broke a bunch of stuff in the house. She wrecked the house, and she beat Tyler up pretty bad that night. And this is all over the Chris Jaffe thing. Mm-hmm. Tyler started blaming himself for it, and then that's where I kind of stepped in. I was like, Tyler, I was like, you're not in the wrong here. And he was like, I should have never met up with Jaffe. He loved her. He was obsessed with her. So, hold on a second. I'm pulling into another account here at a country club. And, all right. So, that night is definitely evidence of what she was capable of. And that really gave me my first outlook on Brittany of seeing, that side of her.
So when you said that she was, you got to scratch somebody pretty hard to, draw blood, right?
Yeah.
How does that go down? Like, she clawing at his face, or I can't even picture how it's happening.
She just used to go crazy, dude. Like, she would just throw her arms, you know what I mean? Like, beating him up. She's beat him up a few times. That's the thing. And he kind of just, used to take it. And he never really, as no one should, behind closed doors, if situations like that happen, obviously it's something embarrassing to speak of, to talk about.
Sure.
But there's quite a few stories about her attacking him, and she was an attacker. And clearly that night, of the blood being, in Tyler's bed and the broken beer bottle, and not only one broken beer bottle, that room was full of broken glass when everybody had to go clean it up. That's when everybody knew that there seriously was a problem going on. And Tyler, I don't know if you've had the chance to meet him, but he was built like a brick. Like, if you ran into him, it was like running into a brick wall. He was just built like that. That's the way he's built,
So that night in February, you saw her swinging at him.
Everybody saw her. Everybody saw her.
All right.
It was at American Rock Bar. Yeah, everybody saw her.
Okay.
My girlfriend, her friends, and that was all their first impressions on her as well. So after that day, they were all, everybody stayed away. You know what I mean? Sure. That was it.
All right. These text messages between you and him, do you still have them on your phone?
Yeah, it was between a phone call, the week leading up to him. I have text messages from the night in February on my phone. And he was like, not good. He said something, and I just woke up and I put like a dead face emoji or whatever because I was hungover.
Uh-huh.
And then he was like, he said something. I can send you them, yeah. And then I called him afterwards about it. You know what I mean? I'm not a big text guy.
Any kind of text message between you and him that is about problems or about Brittany at all, we would love to get our hands on. Tyler got a new phone a week before this happened.
Right.
So those old text messages aren't on that phone anymore, right? So we don't have anything from 4 days before the shooting, beyond that. So the only texts we have are pretty new ones. So if there are old ones that you have on your phone, you can screenshot those and email them to us. That would be awesome.
Yeah, could you hold on? Let me write down your email real quick. Down my truck.
I can text it to you on this number.
Oh yeah, that would be perfect. I could go back. I could screenshot an email. What it really came down to is when he would text me anything like he did that night. Like, he was explaining, and I didn't really understand what he's explaining because I didn't know that they got into it. She tore the house up. Mm-hmm. So after I woke up, I sent him a couple of emojis. Like, yeah, I thought he was talking about because we just drank too much that night. But I called him and I talked to him about it. It's Jordan also could explain what happened that night about her damaging the house and property, and she literally went. That was a real. I think that was the first blow up that I've heard of her doing. But she has a past about it. And talking to her ex-boyfriend, Have you talked to her ex-boyfriend down in the Keys yet?
This is Chris?
Chris, yeah.
I haven't talked to him. It's possible the state attorneys might have.
I gotcha.
This is a different, not the same Chris that she used to work on a charter boat, right?
No, this is her. This is who she moved down to Key West with, who she lived with before. This is how she met Tyler. That's her ex-boyfriend. So he was with her. He's known her for a while. He's dated her for a while, and he would be a good one to talk to as well because it's just all the stories are similar and they all add up.
Mm-hmm. Right. Did he mention relatively recently after that
Hold on 1
February?
second.
Sure.
Did he mention what?
After that, February-ish time frame, that the relationship still wasn't going well, or he was thinking about breaking up with her, or anything like that?
No, he was in love with her. That he was doing everything in his power to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler didn't date much, and he met her, and ever since she first moved down, I knew he had a thing for her, even though she was dating Chris. And, she had a Catahoula. He loved Catahoulas. It was just, Tyler had a big heart, man, and we all went down to the Keys to celebrate his life, and we're all sitting down there. Tyler worked on my boat and lived with me in my house in Maine for 3 months, a whole summer. And I was just asking everybody, I was like, does anybody have one argument that they can remember ever being with Tyler? Anybody, because I started thinking about it, and I've known him for the past 12 years. And, these are people I've known him his whole life. And I was like, has anybody ever had one argument? He was just non-confrontational. He never got into a fight. Even if people were fighting around him, I just never seen him fight or, get confrontational. And he loved her and he wanted to make it work. So I think he hid a lot of, her downfalls and her problems and what happened behind closed doors. He hid it for a while. I just think that it was coming. I think it was coming to an end. When someone just says enough is enough. And I know that the drinking up to that week, it just wasn't good. And that night, I could only imagine what happened in that bedroom with the broken beer bottle and the blood.
You had mentioned a DJ. Who is DJ?
DJ lived down the street from them. DJ Wood. He owns the Papa Wood. So Jordan's the captain of DJ's boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. His girlfriend, Marissa, Marissa would be another good one to talk to. She went out with Brittany on Wednesday. And that's when Brittany, mentioned to Marissa about how she wanted to kill Jaffe and when she was really drunk and all that. So that happened literally 48 hours before she killed Tyler.
All right. Is there anything else big that sticks out to you? Is that you need to get across to us?
Not that I could come up with right now. I mean, I'll have your email, so if I think of anything, it just sucks, dude. It's just can't believe it, you know what I mean? Just that we're talking about this, and I'm trying to keep it together because I own a wholesale fish company. I'm about to walk into another meeting here. I got to put my happy face on,
I got you. All right, so where it's kind of going from here, the process is long. We're talking a year and a half, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a list of names that I'm sorting through and kind of screening for the state attorney's office. So I'm going through all these names and phone numbers and trying to find people that the state attorney needs to talk to. All right. Would you be willing to talk to the state attorney's office about?
I'll talk to whoever I need to talk to about.
Cool. All right, I'll put you down as having some information that they're gonna want to hear. I can't tell you when they'll reach out to you. It might not be for a while because it's a long process, but you'll probably be getting a call from somebody at the state attorney's office.
Okay, thank you.
If you have any questions or anything else pops up, you'll have my email address or my phone number. You can shoot me an email or a text or whatever. All right.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Hello?
Hi, this is Detective Costas from the Sheriff's Office. Is this Tori?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. So I got your name and your phone number from a list that Tyler Nulisch's stepfather sent over to the state attorney's office.
Yes, sir.
He said that you might have some information, kind of background information about their relationship. You have a couple minutes to talk?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So kind of where we are in the process, obviously an arrest was made, and it's this kind of trial process is long, right? It's like a year and a half maybe. Right? So the law enforcement side was relatively quickly completed with an arrest. And then the state attorney's office, digs up more and more information to try to put more and more together. So that's kind of where we are now.
Okay.
How well did you know Tyler and Brittany?
I knew Tyler better than Brittany. They were just together for about 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler really never, really dated. I mean, but I've known Tyler since I met Tyler in the 3rd grade.
Oh, wow.
We're both born and raised here in the Keys, and when I left Big Pine Charter School and went to Sugarloaf School in 3rd grade, that's when I met Tyler, as well as Brett did. Me and Brett went to school here in Big Pine, and once we kind of transferred there, which was kind of like the big boy school there in Sugarloaf at the time, and that's when we became acquainted with Tyler, and then we were all in Boy Scouts together and played football, baseball together, and been best friends since, our whole life. But in regards to their relationship, honestly, like I said, he wasn't much of a dater. Tyler was more of an outdoorsman. He loved being on the water. He was always living it through the moment. And when it came to girls, he just really didn't care. Like, he'd meet a couple, date a couple, go on a date or whatever, but it just never really worked out. Sometimes, he really could care less. But when he met Brittany, because she originally was dating Tyler's roommate. So the 3 of them lived in another house.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when Tyler and her became acquainted. And then I guess she was in a bad relationship at the time with that roommate. And as far as I know, he was just kind of seemed just like, I don't know if he was an abuser or what, drug addict, alcoholic, maybe all the above. But Tyler just kind of took it upon himself how much better she could be treated. And I guess they kind of, were friends to begin with. And it kind of just became a little bit more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyler being Tyler, of course, he didn't want to, was a friend of his, so he didn't want to get involved. They kind of went their separate ways. I think she moved back up to Destin or wherever, or Stewart, where she was from, as far as I know, and then came back. And then she reached out to Tyler, and I think he took her on the boat, and one thing led to another, and they started dating. And then I know Tyler's head over heels for it, and then that hurricane came through, which I believe was Ian. Is that like last October, I want to say?
Yeah.
And Ian came through, and I know Tyler was looking for a place to live. He was staying at a friend's house up here in Summerlin Key, because I live in Big Pine. And he was staying at a friend's house. I remember sending me videos of the water and the surge coming up. And but he was I remember Tyler talking to him. He was in such a desire to find a home for them to move in, because it seemed like she kind of put that pressure on him. Like, we can't live together. If I can't find a house down here, I'm going to have to go back to Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyler, his heart and soul is here in the Keys. So I think he, kind of knew in the back of his mind that it wasn't going to work if he couldn't find a house for the 2 of them. So he found that house on Big Coppet. Tyler knew everybody. And, it was whatever, $3,600 or something stupid. And Tyler spent every dollar. And I'm sure she helped out a little bit too, but I don't think she had as much saved up as he did. First, last security, I think Tyler dropped like almost $10,000 moving to that house.
Yeah.
And, and the text messages between me and Tyler, I'll never forget it. After everything happened, I looked back to it and it just broke my heart. But he was just so excited to, move in there with her and all that. And so, and then for 9 months, it was, it was like 2 newlyweds. It was a honeymoon stage the whole time. And then, I don't know, maybe towards the end there, it seemed like she had a little bit of a drinking problem. Tyler wasn't a drinker. He loved smoking his weed. But he never drank. It just wasn't his thing. And I think she kind of maybe, because she drank, he did too, to kind of just like keep it, kosher maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, Tyler, end of the day, he wouldn't hurt a fly. He was definitely not the abuser type. He was never. That just wasn't Tyler. He was a hunter, fisherman, and that was about it.
Did he ever mention to you any issues that he was having? If they were getting into arguments or fights or anything?
Once, so our other best friend Jeff Wright got married on February, and so my girlfriend and Brittany got ready here at the house. I was the best man in the wedding. Tyler was also a groomsman, so we all got ready there where the ceremony was going to take place, and that night, ceremony, our best friend got married, everything was good, drinking, of course, open bar. We all left because we weren't staying there on property. There was just immediate family staying there where the ceremony took place.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got back here late. It must have been 3, 4 a.m. And I just remember, we were sitting out here. I think I started a fire. I think, maybe we grabbed some more beers, and we're just kind of sitting here, deciding if they were going to stay here and stay the night at my house or drive back to Big Coppin. And for some reason, she just flipped the script. Went from we're all laughing and giggling, just demean, drunk, I don't know, just you've kind of seen it at bar stuff, people get mean like that, but it was I don't know, it was just bizarre. And that was kind of the initial. And then there might have been some other texts Tyler said Brittany's being mean again or something like that, And Tyler just was so nonchalant. I mean, I'll be honest, I even thought really nothing of it. I'm like, whatever, I mean,
that night of the wedding, was it just kind of her being mean, or was there any physical altercation?
I mean, she would slap him, and and I don't even remember what we obviously been all drinking really a lot that night, but nothing serious, And she was just "You don't love me," just stupid immature things,
Mm-hmm.
Just obnoxious, "You don't love me, you'll never marry," just stuff like that.
So nothing to the point where you're like, "Oh, we gotta grab these guys and separate them."
Yeah, no, nothing ever. And she would just slap him in the back of the head, and then I think he texted me that night. They ended up driving home, and and Tyler seemed kind of sobered up at that time, when she was acting like that, because he was almost embarrassed,
Yeah.
And he texted me. I think he's like, "Hey, made it home safe." She was punching and scratching me the whole way home, or something like that. And I was like, "Jeez," and I don't know. I just didn't really think nothing of it, I really didn't. Nothing to the extent that sitting here talking to you about, of course,
Yeah, it definitely sounds like no one saw that coming. So the text that you mentioned you have on your phone, is there anything that speaks to their relationship? I think I'm done, or I want to break up, or anything?
Nothing. And that's what drives me crazy. That's what's it was just out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Tyler were super close about stuff like that. Nothing.
Yeah,
ever.
I mean, you've known each other for decades at this point. If that's something that he would have told you about, you would have chatted about?
Oh, for sure. And Detective, it kills me even more because, that guy went out of his way to call me. If we didn't talk for 2 days, he'd call me what are you doing? I'm like, I'm charter fishing or whatever I'm doing. I got a 3-year-old, taking care of the little man. And, we would sit there and we would just listen to each other breathe because I just had nothing to talk about. And that was just Tyler. He went out of his way to, just catch up. And for whatever reason, our lives, I ain't seen him or talked to him probably in 10 days. And then this happened. And that was probably the longest time since, I don't know, maybe I went to college,
Mm-hmm.
And then I just never heard from him,
Yeah. How how he was doing at work? It seemed like he was maybe frustrated with the job he was doing.
So from what I talked to the other guys, I knew money was a big thing. I think Brittany had a lot of expectations in life. She's a couple years older, but they really wanted to start their own business, and whether that was Tyler to get a boat, start charter fishing because he's such a good fisherman. I know he was doing glass work. He was doing fiberglass work, which, if anyone knows,
you might as well work for, waste management because it's just, you're dirty, you're itchy, you got fiberglass on you.
Yeah.
I mean,
A million degrees outside. Yeah.
yeah, it's a proud job. You've built some really pretty boats, and it's a craft. But I don't think Brittany really liked days coming home. His clothes are dirty, stuff like that. I think maybe that'd been a little bit of pressure, but that's just from talking to everyone after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
We went to that house after everything with his mom, and there was 3 pairs of shirts and jeans outside that had all fiberglass all in it. And I'm sure his mom was saying, I'm sure he just, go shower after work and then go back down, wake up next morning, walk downstairs and put those freaking dirty clothes back on and go to work and do it all over again, 5 days a week. And I know that boss of his gave him a couple raises and then just told him, like, listen, I can't afford you. He's like, I know you're a good helper, but I just can't afford you. And I think Tyler was just frustrated making, $25 an hour, doing the work he was doing and all that, that heat we had.
Mm-hmm.
But so I mean, directly, no. I mean, he might have said something like, she was going to start some kind of app thing on her phone, like a Key West. You get on your phone and it's like your tour guide app thing, and he was excited about that. And I guess that was her idea. And he said, "Oh, we're going to do it." And he was super supportive about her doing it. I think he even gave her some money to start the LLC and all the paperwork to get that going. But I mean, and I know she worked a lot too. She was always working at the Sun Tour place. A couple times we had dinner there at the house, we were sitting there kind of just waiting on her, and she'd show up at 4 or 5 o'clock, and and go shower. And, Tyler's cooking, and I mean, they just, I don't know, it's just, I mean, I don't forgive her at all for what she did, but it was just 2 lives is completely ruined for something that seemed, I don't know, just
man.
not, I don't know.
Is there anything else that sticks out in your head as like, man, I gotta let somebody know about this, or this happened?
I mean, just from her, I don't know if she was looking for drugs all the time or what. Like, I think she would drink and maybe possibly look for either cocaine or whatever she wanted. And if she didn't get it, it seemed like she would, I feel like that's when she got violent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she would maybe send Tyler off to go get things, and if he didn't, let's go to bed, and that's when she'd get violent. Whether it's for a pack of cigarettes, a bag of Coke, whatever, I don't really know, but I think that's where that kind of came from. And I think that night we were here at the house, she was ready to go and wanted to go somewhere, and Tyler's like, hey, let's just hang out. Like, we're sitting here, we're going to get the fire going. And I think that's when she started getting violent, when she didn't get her way.
All right.
So that's about it. But other than that, I wish I could say I knew her more and better. And the most crazy thing is I took them out we went on a little booze cruise on his birthday, March 5th. And, of course, I had a few drinks in me, and I remember telling her, I said, if you ever hurt him, like, I'm going to kill you. And then here we are, 5 months later, and sure enough, like, she did more than hurt him, It's just pretty ironic. And me and Tyler, he was, we were texting back and forth about that. And that's all you can just think about. Is just
Do you ever know that? You ever known Tyler to use anything other than weed? Maybe some coke here and there, or something like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
You think it was like a daily thing, weekly thing, or here and there?
Like, I'll be honest with you, Detective. Mm-hmm. He was not a drinker. If he drank, he had to have it because he just didn't like the way alcohol controlled his body.
Yeah, it brings him down a little bit, and something to bring him up.
He had to and he was nothing like a crazy like crack or nothing like that. He would sit there and just tell the same story about 10 times, and just laugh and whatever, bite on his cheek or whatever, But
is there anyone else that you're thinking of? They're like, man, these guys got to talk to this person. They know everything or something.
I mean, I'm sure you talk to Jordan, because they're roommate, which me and him just cry to each other every time we talk to each other. I'm sure you talk to Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to Brett
Yep.
I mean, the only other person would maybe be her first, that guy that lived with them, Jaffe. I don't even know his last name. I think that's just his nickname.
Was it Jaffe?
I think so. Maybe Jaffe's his last name, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Okay.
But I remember he was there at the celebration of life, and he's like, oh, what could have been me? I don't know. I don't even know that guy, but just met my best friend. I just know nothing I say or do is gonna bring him back, but I just know that he just wasn't that guy. The guy that she was trying to portray him to be is some violent, crazy person that came out of the bathroom like a different person. That ain't Tyler. That ain't Tyler at all.
Damn, that's exactly what everyone we talked to says. He was a big teddy bear.
He was such a teddy bear. I don't know, like it just sucks that they portray him out to be this, this person. And anyone that knew him knows he wasn't that way at all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's the kind of guy that's gonna tell you, "Hey, man, I made it home safe," that's a different kind of person, right?
Yeah, exactly. And tell you he loves you. Thank you for everything. What a great time that was, just.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know it's hard, and I appreciate you chatting with us a little bit.
For sure.
We're gonna make sure that we pass your number along as someone who's super tight with Tyler to the SAO's office, and they might be reaching out to you. It might be months down the line, so I wouldn't be expecting a call anytime soon. But
I just had my daughter. She was just born on the 11th. And I named her Tyler. So that tells you how much he meant to me.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm sure he's looking down and he knows that.
For sure.
All right. If anything else pops in your head, this is my cell phone number. You can call me anytime you need to. You send me a text message, whatever. Anytime, all right?
Okay.
All right,
Thanks,
man.
Detective.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Hello?
Hey, is this John?
This is.
Hey, John. My name is Detective Scott Costa. I work for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing today?
Pretty good.
Just wanted to see if maybe you had a minute to talk about Tyler Nulisch.
Yeah, sure.
So the state attorneys kind of sent us over a list of names and phone numbers of people that maybe have some background information that they might be interested in hearing. So I'm just kind of sorting through this list of people to chat with. I just wanted to see if maybe you could give us a little sense of what you know about the relationship between Tyler and Brittany.
I've known Tyler for, 12 years or more, 15 years. He's been one of my best friends. He worked for me on and off for years. I was with him the day before. I was one of the first people there after. I cleaned up a lot of the mess. I'm the one who found the gun, figured out that the gun was downstairs in the car at 99 percentile. I don't know Brittany very well. I just assumed she was a good person because I thought Tyler was such a good person,
Mm-hmm.
I was never around them a ton. I did talk to him a little bit about their relationship, but not extensively. I think they were generally happy, but I think she had a major problem when she drank. And no control whatsoever.
Were you ever around her when they were drinking? Or when she was
I
drinking?
personally was not, but I heard numerous stories, and I heard stories from him of dealing with it, but I did not witness it.
All right.
What else?
Did he ever mention to you that they were having problems or any times where issues had popped up?
About 3 days before, I'd say, he came to me and said his dog Chief and him just needed a day to themselves, and it was definitely because he'd been arguing with her, and he just was, taking a step away. And I don't really know exactly what it was about. I know that she had fallen and hit her head like 3 days prior to him, say a week before the incident.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about that she'd just been, real hard to deal with after that.
Hit her head, go to the hospital, hit her head, or?
No, I guess she jumped on the couch or something when he'd gotten home, and she tripped over that and was making a big deal out of it, just somehow blaming him or something. I'm not sure. It was just that was the. I remember him telling me that was like the stemming of the, of whatever, something to do with the argument that they were having. Why he needed just to take a day off. He came and hung out with me for the day, and he actually ended up working for me for like 5 days after that, or 4 days after that. Trying to think what else. Like just. Yeah, I mean, I know him to be the most level-headed person ever in problem situations. So it's like the whole thing is so beyond me still.
Yeah.
Did you know him to be much of a drinker?
I wouldn't say much of a drinker. He definitely drank sometimes, but he wasn't like a daily drinker by any means.
All right.
And it wasn't like he never got sloppy, you know. It was, if he drank a few beers. You know, he was more of a smoke a joint, or every once in a while I think he'd do some coke, which is, you know, not my scene, but I think he would go do that with others. But
Mm-hmm. Did you ever hang out with him and Brittany together ever?
I really wasn't around them much. They would come through my house every once in a while. He'd run a little bully net boat out of my backyard, and they'd stop by and take the dogs for a boat ride and stuff. But like, I never knew her well. They watched our dogs a couple times while we were out of town. But like, I never spent, you know, collectively, I didn't spend more than 2 hours around her, however 8 months they were dating or whatever.
I gotcha.
She had dated Chris previously, who I knew, and I wasn't a fan of the whole situation. I was not a fan of Chris Jaffe, and I wasn't, you know, I just kind of kept my distance from her. I figured anyone who dated Chris Jaffe wasn't the greatest, but I just, you know, respected that Tyler chose her as his girlfriend, and therefore I was nice to her.
Were you at a wedding for another one of their buddies, Jeff Wright?
No, I was not at the wedding, but I heard that it was a show with her afterwards, but I was not. I did not attend.
Okay. And there's one other name. Have you heard of a Marcia or a Marcia?
Marcia? No, I don't believe so.
All right. How about a DJ?
Yes, Marissa?
Marissa, maybe.
Yes, Marissa and DJ. Yes, I know them.
Do you know last names for those guys? Or maybe phone numbers by any chance?
DJ is...
Okay.
And her name is Marissa.
Would you happen to have a phone number for either of these guys?
I will have a phone number for DJ. Hold on.
And Marissa and
That's
DJ.
DJ. And then I have Marissa's also here.
Great. And they live down here?
They live in Bicoppet, right down the street from where Tyler was. That's where Jordan walked to call me right after it happened, or as soon as the police released Jordan, he walked to DJ's house and used DJ's phone to call me.
Gotcha.
Or DJ called me or something along those lines. I know that Marissa went to dinner a few nights before this happened, or out for drinks with Brittany. And that's where there was a conversation about her wanting to do weird, gruesome stuff to Chris, her ex-boyfriend, which Marissa found disturbing and kind of ended, I guess, called Tyler and asked them to come pick them up as she was uncomfortable.
All right. Is there anybody else that sticks in your mind that we should be chatting with?
I mean, you've already spoke with Jordan. I mean, the only thing that I can further contribute is just things that I saw in the house that the police may have missed. But, I mean, I think Jordan probably told you most of that. I don't know if you have any questions there. Or just Tyler's character as a person. I mean, I think more highly of him than almost anybody. He's a better person than anybody I knew.
Can you give me a rundown of what you saw in her car when you were there cleaning the house?
Yeah, so I asked Jordan, we were kind of cleaning up, and I said, man, where does she keep her gun? And he says, always in her purse. And I had already walked past the car and looked into the car and saw that the purse was wide open on the passenger seat. And I was like, holy, you know, like, it was pretty obvious that she had ran down there and grabbed her gun out of her purse. Car unlocked, purse tipped over. looked like she pretty hastily ran down there and grabbed it.
When you say tipped over, you're like laying on its side or like upside down?
Laying on its side with like a third of its contents out on the seat.
Okay. And you would take that to mean like somebody was rummaging through it fast?
I would assume so. You know, I mean, obviously she had gone to. He said she always kept it in the center, like in the center of her car there. So it looked to me that she had gone down there, opened the passenger door, grabbed her purse from the center, pulled it to the seat, tipped it over, grabbed her gun, and proceeded back upstairs, I would assume.
Okay, all right. And did you tell Jordan about that?
Yeah, Jordan was there. He knew about that.
All right, you saw that as well?
Yeah, that was my girlfriend was with us as well. There's 4 of us that saw that.
Okay, all right. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you giving me a couple minutes.
Yep,
Is there anything else super important that I got to tell somebody about?
I know that Jordan had mentioned to me that you guys had kind of asked him, is there anybody in her life who she would be talking to? And I don't know anything about her life, but I know that there's a kid that they refer to as Bummy, who his real name is, I'm not sure which way it is, something along those lines, and he's from her hometown and just knows her friend group. I don't think he knows anything, he wasn't involved at all, but he does know her friend group.
Okay.
That's the only person. It's just it's just like friend of a friend thing, but I know that he grew up, with her group of friends, so he would know possibly who she speaks to and stuff like that, maybe. I guess that was something you guys were trying to find out.
Yeah, just anything, really.
I don't think he has anything to do with anything or knows anything about the case, but just knows her from childhood.
Okay. All right, cool.
Also, her parents, I spoke with her parents to help them get her stuff out of the house, and they seemed like fairly normal people, and they were absolutely 100% on Tyler's side on this, which speaks volumes of, like, if the parents come and are just absolutely like, oh my God, what did she do now? They called her Hurricane Brittany, was the words her own father used. And she said she finally came and ruined paradise, came down here and destroyed something. He was just disgusted with her without even knowing really anything. I was kind of shocked by parents of someone coming and being completely on the other side, not even questioning, just like, that was shocking to me.
All right.
They didn't even seem surprised, it was just like, they were just like, she did it this time,
Yeah, I gotcha.
That was like, holy shit, and then also there was a whole file cabinet in the house of like past police problems of hers, so I think you can look into her like juvenile record, and there's all sorts of stuff. I mean, just probations and aggravated batteries, and we didn't really look through it, but it was like a file cabinet, and it was labeled, like, just reading across the labels, it was like, damn, she has a history that I don't think anyone was aware of.
All right, man. I'll tell you, we're gonna pass all this to the state attorney's office. Someone's gonna reach out to you at some point. It's probably not gonna be particularly soon, and this process.
Yeah, I understand.
A year and a half, 2 years.
Extremely slow thing, and it is what it is.
Yep, but it's still being worked on. Nobody's forgot about it or let it go.
We understand. I get it.
All right. If anything pops in your mind or another name or an event, you can reach out to me. Give me a shout. Send me a text.
I mean, just like I said, Tyler is a great person, and I know that I've seen him drinking and stuff, and he doesn't turn into anybody different. He doesn't have a weird switch. Like I've seen that in a lot of people, and I know she did, and I know he didn't, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I can assure you that it was just over something incredibly stupid and probably just from her drinking.
Yep, that looks like it could possibly be it.
Yeah, just a tragic, stupid decision on her part, and I'm sure it was over something ridiculous,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, John. Well, appreciate you. Thanks for your time, man.
Yep.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, my name is Detective Scott Costa. I work for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I'm trying to contact Maritza. Is this Marissa?
Yes.
Hey, Marissa. I just want to see if you might have a couple minutes to chat with me about Tyler Nulisch.
Oh, okay.
Alright. So, where we're at now, the state attorney's office is kind of looking to get some extra background to put their case together. And your name has popped up a couple of times of people that might have some information they want to hear.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit about the relationship between Tyler and Brittany?
Yeah, so I knew Tyler. I had met him a few years back when I visited Key West. I did not know Brittany very well. I had only met her, I think, one or two previous times briefly, and it was all close to the date, that she murdered him.
Mm-hmm.
And I had hung out with her that week, really close. I think it was within a few days of the incident happening.
Uh-huh.
And sorry if you can't hear me. I'm in the car, so if it breaks up a little bit, I apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
But I'm not driving. I'm a passenger. So, when I saw her, it was actually so that they lived down the street from us, literally within like 6 houses.
Okay.
And my boyfriend's captain, Jordan, lived with them. So Brittany and I had talked a little bit on, messenger stuff, asking, thinking we should get together and become better friends because we live so close and we loved Tyler and hanging out with them. So we went out a couple nights. Yeah, it was very close. It was within the week that she murdered him, and I knew that I did not like her or want to hang out with her again. When she picked me up, we were going to go to Babalu's, and I thought we were going to walk there, but she came and picked me up in the car, and we went to Babalu's, and it was dead, so we were like, oh, we don't really want to go there, and she kind of wanted to go downtown. But when we started driving down the road, I realized that she was really up. She was definitely intoxicated, and I don't like that. So I realized I was actually texting my boyfriend, and I have the messages and stuff about how uncomfortable I was and didn't, want to hang out with her. And we went to, I told her that I actually wanted to go to the docks or Hogfish because that's where Tyler and DJ had worked, and I knew it was like a safe spot, so to speak. Like, I didn't want her to drive any further because she was recklessly driving, and I just wanted to get out of the car, so I told her, let's go to the docks or Hogfish. Okay. I'm sorry, are you still there?
Yep, I'm listening.
Okay. So we went to Hogfish, and I asked her, like, I think even what kind of beer like that she wanted, but I ended up getting us two kind of like very light, like kind of gross end beers because I did not want to drink with her, and I didn't want her to drink anymore because I knew that she was very messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were at Hogfish, and she was talking about her ex-boyfriend, which is a guy that I know. It was Chris. She was talking about him, and very aggressively and very angrily, and talking about their relationship, how much she hated him, how she like wanted to kill him, and saying all this crazy stuff. And she was crying about how Tyler saved her, and she loved Tyler so much. And I was like, I agree, I love Tyler. The bartender looking at me, I'm kind of giving like side eye, like, yeah, I need to get her home. And I did not want her to drive anymore, so I was saying, that if Tyler could come pick us up, or DJ was offering us to get us an Uber. My boyfriend is DJ. And I wanted to go over to the docks to get picked up just because at Hogfish she kept saying the name Chris, and I didn't know. It was embarrassing for me, and I didn't know if people knew him or knew her. She was so intoxicated. I was just embarrassed, and I wanted to get to the docks where I knew the bartenders and people and like felt safe, and then Tyler could pick us up there. So I made sure that she messaged Tyler to come pick us up there, and she did. And she kept dropping her purse on the floor, things like that. So we walked over to the docks, and when we were there, I made sure that she called Tyler again, and I actually spoke with Tyler, and I was like, Tyler, I'm so sorry if you could come. And he was so nice about it. He was just a doll, and really, kind and sweet and was like, yeah, of course I'll come, pick you guys up. And she was just so hammered at the docks as well. It was like, I got we did not even drink the beers at Hogfish, and then I got us 2 light beers at the docks, knowing that I didn't want her to drink. I didn't want her to do anything or have any more alcohol. And when we were there, she was crying to me again about how much she loved Tyler. He saved her life. She was so happy to be with him. She was kind of hanging all over me, almost trying to kiss me, just very intoxicated behavior. The bartenders were kind of laughing. I was laughing, saying, okay, we're going to go home now. And Tyler picked us up. She left her car there overnight. And when we were walking back, I was so happy to see him. And we were walking in the parking lot area, and she ran and jumped on his back, being playful, trying to jump on him, but he almost fell because, we didn't know it was coming. She was like a raging bull, went and jumped on him. He almost fell over and was like, oh, come on, Britt, remember, you did that before, and you almost, I fell on my face or something. And then she got really pissed off and was like, excuse my language, and she was punching him in the arm and calling him saying, come on, you can't pick me up and stuff. And I was like, oh, I was trying to make it funny because it was uncomfortable. I was like, oh, everyone's gay in Key West, so we're fine, making jokes. And Tyler was laughing, I was laughing. And we finally got Brittany in the car. She sat in the front seat, and I walked around. I gave Tyler a hug, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm not, drunk. I'm not intoxicated. I did not get her this way. I didn't want him thinking we went out and got all fucked up, because that wasn't the case. And he said, no, Marissa, it's totally fine. She was drinking before. This isn't my first time. It's fine. I'm not mad at you or anything. You're not in trouble. I was like, okay. I just wanted him to know that, I felt bad that she was really messed up, but I didn't have anything to do with that she was messed up, and, it was time to go home. And he was very, very sweet. Oh my God. We got in the car. We were playing Britney Spears and just fun music and laughing and dancing. And me and Tyler kept looking at each other because Britney was singing and still all messed up and trying to reach back for me. And I was like, okay, time to go to bed. And so he pulled up and dropped me off at the house. And I went inside and had a laugh with my boyfriend about what happened and her behavior, and I was just so turned off. And I was like, I don't have many girlfriends in Key West. I tried to go out and make a girlfriend, and she's just messed up, and I didn't like her for Tyler. I was like, he's not a fucked up person. He's not mean, he's so good to her, and I just didn't like the way she treated him and was so messed up and what was going on with her. So
when she was punching at him, was it weak punches, playful, or do you think she was trying to hurt him?
I think it was she was definitely aggressive and being intoxicated and punching him in the arm, really pissed off. And she's got that brute strength. She's not a little weak girl as how I had in my mind. She paddleboards and stuff. She's got a strong hook. So I remember her punching him in the arm and being like, okay, trying to make it a joke and just take away from you don't have to beat up on him. He just picked us up and is being really nice. So yeah, that was my take. Was I wanted her to stop.
Hard enough? You think would have left a mark? Kind of hard.
Yeah, maybe if it's a soft spot on your arm and she punched it. Yeah, just I think it was 2 or 3 times. I'm trying to think back, and it was just she's like, oh come on, you. That's what she called him, and did that, and I was like, whoa, okay, come on. And he was laughing it off and shaking his arm and saying, come on, and then I made the Key West joke that we're all gay down here, and we laughed, and we guided her to the front seat of the car.
Okay. And then when you said she was talking crazy stuff about Chris, what kind of crazy things was she saying? She
said that they would get in physical fights and that they would grab each other's eyeballs, and she showed me with her thumb and her fingers on her face, the eyeball squeezing. She said that she told me she had stabbed him one time, and I was like, you stabbed him, or you wanted to stab him? And she was like, oh no. She's like, and next time I'll stab him. She said that she would do it she was doing the stabbing with her arm. This was at Hogfish Bar. She was doing the jabbing, stabbing motion, and she was and I would go, like in his, I would go all the way up like to his neck is what she said. I'm trying to think of the exact words, but she was gonna, she's like, I'd go all the way up and like kill him. And I just remember thinking, you're being so psychotic and aggressive about this. You haven't even dated him in over a year. And I was like, okay, we don't need to, I kept saying, we don't need to talk about him anymore. I'm sorry you went through that. Because she was hysterical about it. And she was just like, I want him dead. Which is ironic that then she killed Tyler a few days later, which is just horrible. I heard through other friends also that she kept a gun in her purse at all times. And I did not know that at the time. As I said, I didn't know her very well. But when I thought back, it kind of made me like nervous thinking of the fact that she kept dropping her purse at Hogfish, and like if she had a gun in there, it could have gone off. And I just remember hearing that and being like, oh my god, like why did she need to carry a gun anywhere? She's not like in danger. So I thought that was very just something I heard after. I don't know, that just freaked me out. Like she kept dropping it. She kept going, and I tried to help her put stuff back in, and she was pretty quick about it. So
do you remember what friends you might have heard that from?
Who trying to think. It was like a combination, I think, of like everyone there. I think that was just maybe through the grapevine. I'll find out, yeah, but I just thought of, that was just something I remembered where I was so freaked out after the fact of hanging out with her. I was like, she dropped that purse like 3 times. Oh my god, like, yeah, so but yeah, she was aggressively talking about wanting to kill and hurt Chris Jaffe and crying and talking about how much Tyler saved her. She told me that when she was with Chris Jaffe, that Tyler was her shoulder to cry on, and that she would sit there and cry to Tyler about and Tyler would comfort her. And that's kind of how their relationship formed, was like he was there for her and like was a good friend to her to start off, because Tyler were roommates at the time. So she was with essentially left before Tyler, and they moved out.
Gotcha.
So then, and I was making jokes that maybe she had a crush on Jordan, the roommate, because she was telling me after she drunkenly told me the same story but changed the names and said, oh, I just, sometimes I sit on the couch with Jordan and I cry to Jordan about my problems, and I just love talking to Jordan. So I was like, oh, that's funny, because it'd probably make Jordan uncomfortable. He's not exactly he wasn't like Tyler. He's not a cuddly kind of guy that would sit and listen to your problems. He's a fisherman who's salty and would say, get away from me. So I thought that was like funny. But Tyler, that's just the essence of Tyler. He was such a sweetheart and a doll, and like would never hurt anyone or hurt a fly. So it would make sense that a girl would want to sit and talk to Tyler and be nice.
Sure. Did you ever have any conversations with Tyler about Brittany?
No, I didn't. The only thing like with Brittany was that she was so messed up, and he had just was like apologizing to me about how messed up she was, and he didn't, know. He just wanted us to have a great girls' night, and my boyfriend and Tyler were very close too, so it was like, of course we want to all get together and hang out. And I think after that night, it was like we were gonna all try to hang out again. Like my boyfriend had talked to Tyler, and we were all gonna maybe try to go on the boat. And I was like, I would love to hang out again as a group. I did not want to hang out with Brittany again one-on-one. I made that clear, like not to Tyler, but to my boyfriend. Like, okay, I'll hang out with them, of course, because I loved Tyler, and Tyler was a good person to be around.
Is there anything else that sticks out in your mind that, maybe came together afterwards? You're like, I have to tell somebody about this.
I had pretty much told my friends like how eerie it was that we had just hung out, and she, all of that happening so close to when I hung out with her was just freaky, that she was so messed up and so hateful towards Christy, but then murdered Tyler. Like, it didn't make sense. But I almost thought if she was in a psychotic rage, maybe she was picturing killed Tyler or something. Like, it was weird. I know that Tyler, he had squashed like their beef. There was one other time that I saw Tyler and Brittany at their house. It might have been like a month or maybe 2 months prior to this, where we were bringing over like a fish thing, like a fish mount to that house, and we saw Jordan and Tyler and Brittany were there with the dogs, and I brought my son over, and my son was playing with the dogs, and Brittany was being really nice and fun. She was drinking the seltzers, and then the topic of Chris got brought up at that time too, and she again, her whole mood changed. She went into like a psychotic rage about it, saying how she hates him, and she wanted to kill that motherfucker, and again, like, just aggressive stuff about him. And Tyler was like, "It's okay, Brittany, like, we've squashed it, we don't need to talk about him." We were all on that page of like, yeah, him, we don't need to talk about him. So that was like my first glimpse of, oh man, she is like not over. She's still, a lot of, the crazy look in her eye. Just, really, I just remember being like, oh, okay. And I just remember thinking it's kind of disrespectful. She went on a tangent about Christy, and I thought it's disrespectful because, her boyfriend is Tyler, who loves her, and he's right there. She doesn't need to keep talking about Christy. He actually told her, like, okay, we don't need to go down. He was nice about it. Tyler was like, okay, babe, we don't need to talk about him. It's upsetting you. Instead of getting mad at her and saying, thank you for bringing him up. Like, he was so kind about it. I remember thinking, wow, Tyler has a lot of patience. So.
All right, well, I appreciate you chatting for a couple minutes. I'm going to pass your name and number back to the state attorney's office. They'll probably be reaching out at some point. It's a pretty long process, right? Maybe still another year and a half till it ends up at a trial. So it might not be any time, in soon coming, but I'm pretty sure they're going to want to speak to you one-on-one. All right?
Okay. Yeah, I know that, it would be a process. I'm out of town right now, but if they need to see me in person stuff, that's fine too, if they want to call me back and stuff. Is this a number I could save so I know in the future, like,
Sure, this is my cell phone number. You can call me whenever something pops up, shoot me a text, whatever.
Okay, what is your name again? I'm sorry.
It's Scott Costa.
Scott Costa. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Brittany Holbrook was found guilty of second-degree murder and sentenced to 40 years in prison.